there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Yo, my feet hurt so bad from today, but you know, it's fine, it's fine. This is just gonna be a weird work week since I'm working at a high school this week. But it's fine. Do it for the gacha waifus and husbandos. Yes, indeed. In the last episode, Kristen made the flying thing fly. It's amazing. And I guess Saria and is gonna have like a little truce, I guess. Funny face you've got there. I'm so happy Ho'oheak actually came home for me. Like at the very last minute, basically. Her tail's really coiling up. I think it's monster time, Kelsey! No. You know, I'm fine with this. Her tail's coiling up. This be fine. Let the doctor go. You can go seek the thing you want if that really will resolve your misgivings. What? Just like that? We pledge you will not respond in any way to your actions. With the way Sari and the Tin Man act around you, I thought you were going to be the dangerous one. What's wrong? Is that real feebleness? Because you don't carry yourself like someone without the power to resist. I leave that to your imagination. But you can understand that I'm not going to sacrifice myself for the doctor's safety. So it seems. Well, I've burned my bridges with the Mayliner Foundation, so the less enemies the better, really. Kristen's plans are in motion already. I'd say we're short on free time too. We'll leave it there, then, before the district starts responding adversely. What? Tin Man? What are you doing here, sir?
Quite right. It won't do for the district to be in true, naked danger. We need to accelerate our gain of the situation. And given you betrayed the Mayliner Foundation, we really shouldn't let an outsider settle this for us. That means you, Dame Kelsey.
You're not that stupid. You indulged Ho'oheak intentionally, looking to seize your moment to act.
Oh, so you guessed I'd pursue a traitor? How nostalgic to be exploited by the Dame once again. Intentional indulgence is giving us too much credit. The agents we assigned to be by Kristen's side defected one after another. I couldn't help but start doubting myself. And introspection is a thing that takes good time. As for the lives of the two of you, madam, haven't you been too careless? If you unleashed your jet black vassal, surely restraining her wouldn't have been difficult.
That is not a place in which I can use any weapon. We are already on top of it.
That statement of yours is enough to draw considerable attention from the Mayliner Foundation, Dame Kelsey. Unless you're mystifying us on purpose.
Oh, she's back. Ho'oheak's like, don't you dare leave me out of the conversation. Honestly, what a surprise. Tin Man, how many bodies do you have? Didn't I toss your poor metal skull in the trash at Logan's? Are you letting me go this time? Or is this the deal? I kill you again, and then the Mayliner Foundation lets me walk free? Ancient sarcasm language.
We'll talk again a bit later. We'll talk again in a bit, traitor.
Has my vision gone dark? He did something to my eyes. No, it's something mental. I can't move my limbs.
It seems art still works here.
Originium arts are not within the scope of the weaponry sensors. Furthermore, even the powers of a revenant would be unable to damage their critical components in the slightest.
Then what about the Originium bomb and the arts unit in my pockets?
Too primitive.
But these are state-of-the-art Colombian technology. They could get us buried in the deep of the land with ease.
I like how he's just casually carrying those around. It's like, Tin Man, what else is in your pockets? Or maybe I don't want to know. Well, then that's super duper OP if he's basically unkillable like that.
So anything else you haven't told the Mayliner Foundation? Are we not able to come together on this? Not even with my being a Colombian or a Sarkaz?
All throughout, I only wanted the doctor alone to reach this place. The control of Rhine Lab was a mishap in that respect. Me? Am I the chosen one?
Regretfully, you don't make the rules here. Beyond my duty to the Mainliner Foundation, I have a heavy interest in this ancient ancestral home of a land. There may be leads in Kazo in there. I'm afraid I won't so easily.
Okay, so Tin Man's basically like that black snake from Ursus, except he does not possess people, just, I guess, tin bodies.
Speaking, yes. Hoheak has been apprehended via arts. She's ready to... What? The president himself?
Oh? Is Mr. President a fan of Hoheak? Looks like your arts are all secure, my dear employer. I mean, aren't all that secure, my dear employer?
Oh? It seems I've underestimated Hoheak. Roger that. I will of course obey. See you later. Isn't it strange, How you can break free of such witchcraft by brute force? Your average campaign knight a century ago would have been frozen on the spot.
That voice just now, it was a sarcasm. Witchcraft? You. What race even are you? I ran my checks.
Always raised on the mind, Hoheak. You really are pitiful. What puzzles me more, honestly, I mean, look at me, at the way I am. How could you take me for some ordinary person, killed by tossing his head away?
Yes, you have a point. So, could you put yourself back together if I crushed you?
I'll deal with Hoheak. You two go on ahead. The president has given me personal orders to unconditionally assist this Rhodes Island party to these conditions. To these coordinates. How very strange. I wonder when he got such a clear grasp of things.
So, what of you as a Sarkaz?
The young Sarkaz detest you, and lovingly respect you too, for a great many reasons, but as I see it, your fight for the Sarkaz will go on longer still. And of course, it will merely be so. Now hurry up. When later comes, I hope you'll tell me everything you're willing to.
I promise that to you. Let's go, Doctor. I'm impressed how easily you give up on your greed. Doesn't the truth matter to you? Don't you want to follow them down there and take in that ancient ancestral home of yours?
Growing attached to your mission target on a mission, and then betraying your country with the intent to misappropriate vital technology without scruple? Not educating my subordinates properly is my disgrace. Your damages to my body can't rouse anger in me, not in the midst of my excessively long time undisturbed. But as your boss and an authority of the Mainliner Foundation, I suggest you hand yourself in and try to plead a lenient sentence.
Grr, you old monster. How much have you lost over the course of your life? Does the idea of duty really still do something for you?
I once used quite the amount of art as a means to avert the trauma too long a time would inflict on my soul, but it wasn't entirely effective. If you look purely at results, I'm a very conscientious one. Death will attest to that in my place.
Makes sense that they're underground. Gotta look for that power source after all, and I doubt she'd keep it on land. No, I'll defeat you. I'll get everything I want. I'll prove I'm my own self, and if that means I have to kill you, kill everyone in the Mayliner Foundation, and even be killed by you, then I'll give each and every bit of it my shot. Heh. So this is how fighting for yourself makes your blood pound. Why did I ever put restoring my old blood first?
How many generations worth of memories have you inherited, Hoheok? 3 centuries? Or no, maybe 5? It's long enough. Long enough for a city to be rebuilt anew and destroyed again, or for a dynasty to go from rise to decline. But to me, it is no more than the time needed to rouse myself from a nightmare.
Big words for you.
No, the reality is, your stretch of a distress and your heart-rending family history wouldn't stand up to the tale of a single scratch of my alloy fingers, young beast cub.
Hoheok feels her heart stall for an instant. Her sight blacks out again. With experience, she quickly abandons her vision and attempts to wrap her body in arts, to extend her limbs' sense of touch. Even among Maylander's seasoned agents, she was eminently gifted. The Kuuk-Oken's memories are not solely a burden. They make her a natural-born, highly veteran warrior. Every part of her body is a lethal weapon. The clarity of her mind has no equal, and her arts would redefine guile itself. But this time, Hoheok begins to feel a hint of fear creeping up. A prickling, sinking feeling that starts from her eardrums and bores into her brain. She covers her ears in pain despite the pure silence about her. The cavern scenery begins to change, a deeper darkness diffusing out from beneath the Tin Man's feet. Ancient sarcasm language.
Given you want to delve into history, I'll have to share a little more of it with you.
Hoheok could feel it, her cheeks, abraded by coarse sandstorms. Her shoulders give a faint shudder as if bearing some colossal mass.
You made too much light of the weight of history, Kuuk-Oken. You've yet to understand what it means for a memory to be graven.
7:59 p.m. HAM HRR, altitude 5,000 meters. Ascent interrupted. What do I make of Hoheok's obsession with history, or her kind's history? That's pretty much normal, honestly. Because I've met people who are into that kind of stuff. Like, she has the most normal obsession out of all the ones people here.
You said you knew how to pilot this thing. Hold on tight. I'm trying the hardest I can, Ferdinand. If I wasn't, we would be dead.
Turbulence!
Saria, check the window! The engine is on fire! Power loss. No huge concern. The thing looks ready to explode. What do you mean, no huge concern? I had no idea you could be so conversational. Humph. There's no end to these drones. Ferdinand, get over here. Grip onto this bar, no letting go. Push it up. See these dials? Wait until they pass this line, then call for me. What are you? Strap in. Don't let your hands leave that thing. I'm opening the hatch and heading out one moment. Opening the hatch? What do you mean heading out? In midair?
The truth is funny. And Ferdinand's probably regretting the whole thing.
Saria! This whole thing's shaking! Damn it, I knew I should have called my lawyer before I got on board. You think you can afford that lawyer without a job? Stay calm. Watch the dials, period. What the hell are you doing? I think it's on the verge of haywire. There have been lights flashing. Saria, are you done yet? I'll take the controls. Let go of the bar. Let go of the bar, Ferdinand. Did the firefight die down? What did you do? I haven't seen you looking like that for years. The pulse device was reverse engineered from Raytheon Industries tech.
Hello?
I was intending for it to hijack
I was intending for it to hijack transport drones. I didn't expect its time would come now. Huh. Haha. Status check. Prepare to dock. Under Saria's control, the cabin doors open up. Fierce gales of wind and ice, cold air pouring straight into the aircraft.
Herf. I should have worn a few more layers.
Put on your mask. It'll make that a little bit easier for you.
If I'm honest, I thought you'd jump straight out like some down on her lucker and leave a fresh hole in the lab ceiling. But like an academic, you post the drones first to stop them nearing this craft, and then completed a proficient mid-air docking.
Nasti was meticulous in building this lab. I don't think she would have zero precautions against me. Besides which, I couldn't guarantee to withstand atmospheric pressure at this altitude.
It looks like you have been busy since you left defense. What have you been doing all these years?
Work.
Work.
Don't undo your seatbelt, Ferdinand. If you want to pull Rhine Lab back up from the brink, then show me how you do it.
I'm not your section underling, Saria, and you're not defense's director anymore. Don't talk to me that way.
Can you stand?
Yes, I'm fine. But you'll have to keep me steady.
Sure, you're fine, Ferdinand.
This sensation is bizarre. Are we really midair? The star pod is practically on top of our heads.
We're still far, Ferdinand. The aircraft read 5,037 meters on the dial just now. The barrier is still another kilometer from where we are.
You don't seem moved at all. I suppose so. Learning to pilot in your college days. The army still thinks this is some kind of super weapon. This equipment, these monitor devices and readouts. Nasti built this to be the best lab in all Tri-Mounts. Or perhaps, this was just the first step of some grand experiment. The devil! Just how much did she hide from me? I never thought her participation went that deep. Hold on, Saria. I see a military transporter. They got here faster than we anticipated. They must be nearby. I assume they'll finish boarding before long. We need to hurry before they take over this place fully. Saria?
The man twists his head around and finds the ex-director of the defense section has already headed deep down the toroidal corridor. I like how she was just ignoring him.
Alright. Once I get back, I'm having a nice long talk with Jara. Preferably to double my stock options.
It's like, sorry, Ferdinand, she's not into your talk no jutsu. You follow in Kelsey's steps. You've rarely seen her this solemn. You begin secretly to take stock of her as you walk behind her. You realize you've barely ever had the chance to see Kelsey in such quiet. Because she's always monologuing. Your perturbance begins to turn into tension. To your recollection, Kelsey is only unsettled or restless once in 2 blue moons, and each time the aftermath has needed absolutely no description. You move to open your mouth to say something, just anything. What's wrong with Monster? What's the Tin Man's goal here? Did Ho Heok injure you at all? Let's ask about her. Are you hurt, ma'am? Doctor? Perhaps I have slightly lost my composure, but it is for other reasons. I can be sure it's not that dangerous ahead of us. You can relax. That said, you've asked me a great many questions in the past, which I've never answered for you straight. Today, you may well finally have your answers. It's too bright. Are all these sarcophagi? This many? How? It was as early as Saria's first contact with me, on the mention of Kristen, that I envisaged her going to any lengths to accomplish this. Brashly attempting a spaceflight carries risks nobody could anticipate, though Saria didn't yet know the full extent. Not until the events in Trimounts, until operators Telopsis and Silence were drawn into a seemingly unrelated incident. Yet no matter where, even when I surmised she was trying to re-challenge the skies, I admit, I had not anticipated the situation would be what it is today. With how things have unfolded, with their personally witnessing the SHAFT's scope and scale, HRR's ascent, and the research Logan Williams is now attempting. It was soon after, with hindsight, that I realized what Ryan Lab Control Kristen Wright is attempting the impossible to achieve. Some outside force assisted her, massively influenced her, borrowing military funds and connections, continuing the research her parents left behind. The young genius had used Ryan Lab as a shell to deceive everyone, and point herself directly at her one greatest, most obstinate hope in life. She planned to shred the sky. I guess as much, but then what? I can't swallow it. All that just for her fixation. Dokta Misaki, you understand how it feels, especially with gotcha. I guess that as much, but then what? She's doing it solely to witness the truth of it. To make all mankind witness the truth of it. And what happens after? A brand new perspective, a flourishing science, the moment when the sky becomes possibility itself, and even the very upheaval of how war is fought. People could reach other cities in a tenth of a time. Air vehicles, once a valuable rarity, would become typical transport means overnight. But Kristen has chosen to leave all this to the coming generations. She's never considered this from the angle of benefit, be it how she personally stands to gain or how everyone does. Even the potential crisis invited have gone ignored by her. Is there one more possibility that Kristen, who lost her parents at a young age and grew up amid skepticism and derision, is out to prove this one truth to people and nothing more? Regardless of anything, Sari and I both have been a step behind. Given Terra's current originium technology, tearing the sky apart would require the sum electricity of all of Terra over an interminably long period. And this is purely a mathematical comparison. Nobody could ever converge so much energy at one point, let alone have the means to usefully output it towards the sky. But in the core city of Chernobog, a great many things have happened, all revolving around a sarcophagus. Do you still remember? I would never forget. I could never forget. At that point, Ursus' shallow research was sufficient to draw a relatively impressive amount of energy from the sarcophagus. And now, the energy is enough to realize Kristen's deranged vision. At least, she hasn't chosen to share this information with the military or the Mayliner Foundation. Such a material edge would make the state of apparatus lose its mind, and certainly suffice to propel it into a rapid new hegemony. Just what is this place? How did Kristen manage to find this? These sarcophagi? How did she manage to get so many? Kristen, you have the best gotcha luck if she just happened to find these. What's wrong? Is something... What's wrong? Kelsey's just upset because she doesn't want more work. Understandable. Dr. Misaki, remember what I said. If you can, for the next while, call to your mind your past with Rhode Island. Do not be rattled. Okay. A violent light sweeps over your body. You feel a shred of familiarity impossible to process. With no warning, all the things before you right now, you recall that scene you've never once forgotten up until this day. The sarcophagus, a cold, frigid light. Amia grips your hand. You remember nothing. You're drawn into the maelstrom of Chernobog. It's the start of everything. So much time has passed, but some sentiment even longer lived than that, fills the dense haze of your memories. It stirs in your grief, and reminiscence, and discomfort. It is part of you, yet you reject it with all you can. You strive to settle down your psyche, faced with this quiet noise and dazzling darkness, this indescribable yet infinitesimally brief torrent. Your vision returns. You narrowly avoid a gasp of surprise, but this unknown structure has preempted you, and the sounds of resuscitation echo throughout the vast hall. Unknown language, unfathomable. That after such lengths of time, I would lay eyes again on a colleague and an attendant. I'm assuming that Kelsey is the colleague and I'm the attendant. Truly, far too unfathomable. Why can't I understand your language? Describe what I'm seeing? Well, it looks like an eyeball, and when I think of a giant eyeball, I think of Blood Fort Andromeda, which is Medusa's noble phantasm. Kind of. Sort of. Or at least one of the things she can do. Why can I understand your language? Who are you? Who am I? Standard Colombian. Who am I? Why would you use Tehran language? Are you not aware of my existence? What happened to you? Answer me on that one's behalf, attendant. Ma 10. Oh, she's the attendant. I thought I would be the attendant. And that's why she brought me there. No wonder. I was the chosen one all along. Woohoo! And oh no, there's the ball. The dangerous, dangerous ball. Stay away, ball. I don't like you, ball. Slowly preparing myself. I should have probably faced him up. Oh well. Too late, no regrets. Actually, no, facing him up would have been bad anyways. Decisions. I shall face her. I'll face her here. Why not at this point? Boop. Oh no, my boy! Oh, my bad. That's a big my bad situation. Oopsies. I'll have to redo that later. Come on, Texas, you got this. What those dudes doing? Okay, there, she got it. No fear. Yeah, no fear. Oh, I can imagine this stage being fun because of the balls crushing people. Oh gosh, no fear, still no fear. Hello? And what do I make of that ancient creature recognizing me? Well, clearly it's because I am the chosen one. It makes total sense, for I am the chosen one, the one that can eat hot noodles while they're still boiling. It recognizes my awesomeness. And uh-oh, she's starting to suffer. I should bring her a healer. There, this be fine. Except the two that got away. They will be haunting. But still fine. And just a little bit more and... Get out of here. There. All good.
I order you to answer me, attendant.
Attendant? I'm not Kelsey's attendant. I like that. I like that last one. I'm not Kelsey's attendant.
Dr. Misaki is an amnesiac. The doctor is not one among those you recognize. Not anymore. The doctor is now one of Terra, one of Rhodes Island. And we have experienced a great deal together, up until this very day. Rhodes Island? Rhodes Island? I see. Fine then, amnesiac. So why did you not relate everything once again to this... doctor? Ah, I see now. You've always had your doubts about this doctor's true nature. You'd rather trust on relearning about the world, when the alternative is to recover that stretch of memories you deem unreliable. Yes, quite understandable. None of what's happened on the ground can be forgery, and if there had been sufficient intervention, Terra wouldn't be in a state of it is now. It seems not a thing has gone as we hoped, even if you don't remember that, Dr. Misaki. What a rare chance this is to meet the two of you here, yet under these conditions. Well then, Dr. Misaki Nobunaga, the amnesiac, and Ama Ten, reclaiming the name Kelsey. What did you do? What did you come here for? Has Kristen put nerves in you? Has all this flown beyond your grasp?
I don't think you've answered me yet.
Quit posturing us like that.
Level discussions start with self-introductions. Well, we're gonna introduce ourselves. I am Dr. Misaki. And you are?
I am a device personality simulation. For tens of thousands of years, I have guarded this dark hall and the ice-cold bodies of hundreds of thousands of our people. I once was our last hope, a pessimistic attempt, a synonym for nihilism. But right now, perhaps to you insignificantly minuscule too, I am the accessory to and the invisible hand behind Kristen's mad plan. I am the preserver, with a foot in the grave. Revere all that lies before you. I am the dying of civilization itself. How edgy. Positive correct. Position correct. Transmitter response extremely strong.
Oh, Jara, you're so supportive.
Director... Jara?
Aw, man. I'm that old. No wonder why I'm in the cape. Who knows how old I look?
Why are you here? You made it here by my blessing, such is life. You came to stop me. You haven't let go of that weapon I gave you. I'm delighted. It doesn't seem like you're here on some hot-headed impulse either. Correct. This is your very last chance, child. Withdraw or continue. I will. Learn to be the warrior you described, Director Jara. Silence. You're fully aware that Kristen is not about to target any town in the land with HRR's received energy. You have no need to stop her. Like any scientist would, she's preparing to go where none have set foot before. And that's all. Perhaps so, Director Jara. I certainly don't know control like you do. But if you say so, I'm willing to believe it. However, I will continue to attempt to bring a stop to all this, and I will make no exception, even if you're the one that stands in my way.
Why? Because whatever this experiment is, if Control really conducts it and succeeds in it, and this being the control of Rhine Lab, we know, whether out of emotional confidence or rational judgment, that she is likely to succeed. What do you think the researchers of Columbia are going to see in her? After holding your job in Rhine Human Resources Investigation for so long, you would know the people here inside and out. A hero. Kristen would become a hero and an idol throughout all of Columbian science.
Well, you can only see a little bit of the appearance. Only a tiny bit. So who knows, like, the bottom? Heck, I could be a bird too. Just, based on how the sarcophagus treats some peoples. I could be a bird.
Yes, she'll become the scientist paragon, the benchmark of a researcher. And then, the floodgates will be open forever. Item after item, project after project, researchers will be in perpetual delight. But Director Jara, only she is Kristen Wright, only her. And the others, the ones bragging about themselves as geniuses and leaders, the ones inspired by this pioneer spirit by any means necessary. The ones who put their own obsessions and ideals into practice, all without the slightest apprehension. The greedy and the egotistical, the overreaching, the stubborn, the ones like us. If they take the conduct of Rhine Lab Control to be a virtue, then that is a future I'm sure you can imagine the shape of. Perhaps we don't even need to imagine. With the research you yourself conducted in Rhine Lab, you've never been in the dark. I know very well, Silence. I know very well how much that kind of thing has happened, and is happening inside Trimounts. No, within the borders of Columbia. There have been plenty of insane and alluring projects placed before me. Their owners starry-eyed, their smiles sincere. They wholeheartedly believe they serve pure science. They're the pioneers of the wilds that we know. Well, all you and your colleagues have to do is evaluate whether inside their experimental plans, the grand blueprints, there lies the off chance it might incur the slightest cost or waste. Cost. Something it comes in the form of a fertile field. And sometimes, it's some number of terminal patients or death row inmates. Sometimes it's a village or a town. And sometimes it's some specific race or even nation.
Yeah, even if the sarcophagus are not, made for them and they're made for, me and my kin, I could still be a bird person. I'm just gonna... My new headcanon, I'm part bird.
And as I see it, sometimes, it's their own selves too. Are you scared of that, Director Jara? Or is the possibilities for science's forward progress excite even you to no end? Director Jara, never upon this earth has there existed a specimen of pure science in a glass bell. Science lies in our hands, in the people's hands. You have to know its temperature, its weight, whether it burns people, whether it will bring suffering, or if it will console. Those people forever claim that they're the way forward, but all they do is set foot with wild abandon in whatever direction they wish to. But Silence, that is what progress is. Nobody knows where the path lies. This is the walk they must take. The fortunate will find the right place and enter the light. The misfortunate will run into dead ends and spin in circles. But there is no way you can make them stop. You're a researcher yourself. You know what's most unstoppable of all. It is craving. Matter can't bind it, morality can't bind it, and rules can't bind it all the same. Across this land, all throughout history, before Kristen, there were those greedy, egotistical, overreaching, stubborn people you speak of. And when did they ever stop? And so, from now on, they must stop, At the very least, they must stop before stooping to see just what sits beneath their feet. Director Jara, I feel, scientists feel should not derive from cravings and ideals, nor should it come from calculations and choices. Science is a clear, incisive look at every one of us. Silence, you've said something very beautiful, fit to be hung in the corridors of a university library. But I'm afraid not one researcher is willing to see that the quote on the walls of their lab. It is lip service.
What do I make of this argument between Jara and Silence? Jara is egging Silence on so that Kristen can do the thing. It's like, oh, Silence is here to stop her? Well, let me have a conversation with her.
And so, I will make it practice, Director Jara. I don't want to give up midway, and I still have your blessing. Silence. Kristen has spent a very long time writing this plan. I don't know how much she poured into it. But her determination can't be any less than her parents' was. Fine. This isn't you, it's me. I can't even watch this. I don't want it all to melt into thin air again. In which case, Director Jara, what is it exactly that you hope for? To see Kristen succeed? Or to bring her back safe and sound? I know a researcher who goes by Ruby. Her greatest wish is to clock out on time and retire without hassle. I just ran across a soldier. I imagine his only wish right now is to get out of this out-of-control SHAFT without incident, and then flee the clutches of Trimounts and its scientific loons together with his family. Is Control's wish any more lofty compared to theirs? Because the thing she wants makes sufficient progress? Or is this simply because the feelings between you and her are sufficiently close? Director Jara, you know this isn't fair. You can't be this selfish. I am this selfish. I can't use morality and justice to fool myself in order to let you pass. We must concede what emotions weigh. Kristen has this dream. I can't just stand here and unfold my arms. Silence, you would understand this, wouldn't you? But if we can stop Control, she could very well still... She won't. She won't, child. I know full well, when she set this project into motion, she never planned to return. Since long ago, even since we first met, there has been no taking back of any of this. Silence, it makes me very happy that you could stand in my way here. I can even say that I support your viewpoint. But as Kristen's family, I still won't let you through. Go on and show me. Are you really prepared to bear every word you've said? What you face from here on is more than a single Parvis or a lone Kristen. What you face is every person that attempts to forge forward. I will. I must be ready. I promise you this. A scientist must press forth and is bound to press forth. Perhaps some, like Control, will be more proficient at the forward portion. But there must be someone to step up and ensure that science remains in the people's hands.
But I want Kristen to succeed too! Jara's supportive. She wants to support her basically daughter Kristen. So I'm fine with her standing in the way, because I do want to see Kristen succeed, so I'm biased.
Preserver. I never thought it would truly be you. But if it is, then how could you be aiding in the little animals' mad schemes? Or witnessing a young civilization take its first step beyond the cradle? You came too late, Doctor. My wait has lost all meaning.
Compared to this, Trimounts has been a drop in the bucket. I need more explanation.
It's you helping Kristen. She used some means to get in contact with you. Terra's history, civilizations, languages, races, technological attainments. I have come to know it all through Columbia's networks. Hilariously, modern surface information transmission isn't even able to cover the globe, but your methods of mutually assured destruction happen to have evolved with competent efficiency. Terra's methods are too primal and reliant on originium, and with such conversion rates, realizing Kristen's attempt, the energy source required would be outlandish. It's near to impossible that Terra could have the technology to solve this enigma, save for... Correct. I gave her the last of my blood. May as well supply a new heart than watch over a dying light, perhaps. You actually, honestly... Why do you not regret it? All your efforts over such an immense amount of time. All gone to waste.
No, it's not a waste, Kelsey. Everyone loves Kristen. Everyone simps for Kristen, including this dude.
Yes, gone to waste. I shut the project down personally. The orders were input by myself. It's a decision I cannot under any circumstances regret. It'll be soon now, very soon.
A giant tremor ripples out of somewhere far away. The lights within the subterranean space give a few flickers. This being, calling itself the Preserver, falls silent for a while, then seems to let out a deep breath. What's going on?
Could that be the SHAFT?
What's going on?
It's only an infant's curious glance. Yet, what obstructions is it tasked to overcome?
Yeah, even if the main protagonists want to stop Kristen, everyone else is on Kristen's side, basically. Heck, deep down, I'm pretty sure we are.
8:11 p.m. SHAFT, energy accumulation abnormal. The Rhodes Island Corporation has trained you well. Can you still lift your arms? I'm fine. What about yours? Relax, I buy my health insurance. Are we going to keep doing this? If you're still going to block my way, yes. Alright, let's keep at it. Wait, something's not right. The temperature. Even if the SHAFT is prepared to fire, the temperature here shouldn't have risen this high. The army has cut off practically every power source in an effort to stop it charging. Including every security alarm and control system. Those morons. Quick, we have to get out of here! There's still some troops stationed up above, Director Jara. I'm counting on you to get them away. Where are you headed? Power to the control systems has been cut. Why does Control still have remote operation of this place? Transmitter response is still strengthening. I still have a chance. Silence!
A heatwave washes with a burn past Jara's face. The library researcher she'd never paid particular mind to before now continues straight inward, running deeper into the SHAFT's layers. Jara is suddenly struck by a feeling that there is nothing, not one thing, that could get in the silhouette's way. Perhaps she really can make good on what she promised herself. She imagines, come that time, that maybe she can be of a little help.
Looks like prep work for the emitter is wrapped up. Science is a clear, incisive look at every one of us. I'm no scientist. Kristen, you'll fly for outer space just like you've been dreaming of. I'm sure of it.
Jara, it's okay if you're not a scientist. You are a proud mama. Oh gosh, it's Junior.
Dusty, couldn't you choose someplace with a better view? At what point can you finally stop ragging on me? When I went to observe in Lithanian, I once saw a local fireworks show.
They invited the best composers just to write for the occasion. As the first firework went off, all the musicians started playing in unison. That was a scene of beauty.
Your figures of speech are too deficient. The Athenians wouldn't like you.
True and true, but still, we're here today in Trimount, seeing the sight that glitters just as gold.
Yay, if Kristen considers my fam god.
But oof. That just shows how old I am then.
A ring floating in the air, drone bullets drawing out raindrops of pure light, splashes of sparks of armored plating. Just as good as a fireworks show. Looking at the clock, it's about time for the climax of the performance. Here comes the thrilling, stirring Zondo.
Oh? Whee!
It's prettier than I imagined. Ryan and I ought to be charging all the city siders enjoying the show.
It's a success. HRR's materials and structure have withstood the shock from this energy beam for the time being. Next comes the charging and focus phase. As long as we can collect the readings from such high-pressure conditions.
I'm afraid at this point, the army and mainlander guys grabbed their last chance to stop it from fully focusing. Aren't you worried about control?
Like she ever needed us to worry. We're going the same way, and that's all we are. We can only play our own parts as well, and then pray she's lucky. If one day, Castle 2 hangs in the firmament, then I'll engrave your name into my stoves.
That's even more cursed. I'm an old bebe. Man, Kristen's plan is still going good. I'ma believe in her. I'm still gonna root for her. Love and hatred.
Once upon the land, there was no meaning of looking up. There was nothing worth looking up there, nothing worth exploring. That place was the domain of those who indulged in fantasies, those with their heads in the clouds. But now, each and every person lifts their heads, looking up at the beam of light connecting heaven and earth. Looking up at the once untouchable sky. Among the stars within the artificial constructs that appear so small before the torrent of light, brews the human ambition of this current epoch.
Kristen. Sure enough, you set this plan into motion a long time ago. Everything you did for the DoD was a fancy show. Ha! What's the principle behind all this? The efficiency and stability of this high-energy confinement field. I've never heard of anything like that before.
If I recall correctly, you boasted that you were the foremost expert in high-energy physics when you joined Rhine.
One of the foremost experts. My god. You should thank your lucky star, Saria, that there's nobody like Kristen in your field. It's just not fair, and yet she doesn't even bother to publish these results. The HRRs is currently charging. According to the Military Horizon Arc project, once the charging phase is complete, all this energy will be focused and undergo excitation a second time to deliver powerful wide-area strikes.
Sure. How much longer will it take?
Kristen turned the project dossiers into scrap paper. All I can say is, it won't be long now.
This is our last chance to stop it. As well as our last chance to stop her. What are you still standing around slack-jawed for, Ferdinand? This time isn't on our side.
Saria, take a look at the densitometer over there.
The needle seems to be fluctuating a lot.
No, I'm not talking about the needle. The wobbling is a normal phenomenon of high-energy confinement fields. I'm talking about the unit of measurement. You can take a guess how many times larger this unit is than the one on the instruments in my lab. The energy it absorbed just now is enough to power every single one of Columbia's nomadic cities for at least 6 months. And it's showing no signs of stopping. And we're now in the center of this laboratory, carrying this tremendous amount of energy. Even if Nasty is a genius, she can't create a receptacle that stores energy in amounts beyond the realm of cognition.
In other words,
no matter what direction it ultimately focuses the energy in, once a second-degree excitation begins, this lab won't be safe from the consequences.
her end goal has never changed.
If her ultimate goal is the sky, and the sky can only be contested with this amount of energy, what exactly is up there?
That's sad about Mulesis and the elves then. If elves are the most susceptible to empathy. That is just sad.
That's none of my concern. All I know is, this is a reckless experiment.
And it's doomed to fail. Saria, there's nothing stopping you from packing your bags, finding a nice hillside with a great view, and enjoying a drink while you watch the fireworks show that may well go down the annals of Colombian history.
That isn't going to happen. What about you? You were never the risk-taking type.
Me? Looks like my old friends are coming, and they'll be here sooner than expected. You're right though, I'm not taking any chances. The technical manual has a location of the escape pod, and I know where it is. I'm not particularly interested in seeing the one who fired me, and it's not like you need my help. An opportunity to document the high-energy physics phenomena of this magnitude is rare, and I don't intend to pass it up. Maybe you'll see a new paper from me in the journal's next quarter. I promise, it'll be era-defining. Unlike Kristen, I don't tie all my intellect to my personal grievances. The fact that she's consigning all this knowledge to the grave, knowledge that could transform Terra's entire academic landscape, that's something I can't abide. Do what you need to do, Saria. We don't have much time. Stay safe. Ferdinand. It's been a while, Colonel. I'm not surprised you survived, but if I were in your shoes, I pretend to be dead. Get the hell out of Dodge. Go to Victoria Lathanian. With your skills, you can always pick up a teaching job. I didn't expect to hear those words coming from you. Let me say this one more time, Ferdinand. It's over. I've already spoken with the Vice President. The DoD's defeat is absolute. As for whether or not this whole situation can be salvaged, or who controls my fate, I actually don't care that much anymore. Let's save some dignity for each other, Ferdinand. Get out of here, and I'll save a crossbow bolt for myself. Huh? What was that? Sorry, my mind wandered for a second there. Also, you're blocking the radiometer display.
This SHAFT here runs a lot deeper than expected. I'm afraid the military simply failed to understand its structure. Right here is where the transmitter's response is the strongest. You. What are you doing here, Silence? Professor Parvis.
Silence. The location of this lab is supposed to be top secret. How did you manage to find your way here?
Silence tries hard to open her eyes wide, discerning the things in the room. In the corner of the room, an instrument is humming as if breathing. A transmitter sits in a transparent tank, bobbing up and down. Across the room are several books with black covers. As if sensing Silence's presence, the transmitter increases its activity. A strong wave of dizziness makes Silence furrow her brow, and shake her head a few times.
Wait, why is it going automatic? No, no auto. Bad. How dare you?
Ah, that's right. You have your own transmitter. These reactive tendencies. You injected yourself with a transmitter, though I'm not surprised. Does it cause you occasional discomfort? An entirely normal response. I also have it inside my body. It can be quite overwhelming for an old man like myself, but it shouldn't be a problem for you youths.
Wow, Parvis the same thing.
Still, this is the only way to better control the reaction process. Don't worry, once this experiment is over, the long-distance intertwining properties of this battery transmitter will be lost, and they won't affect the long-term health of the injected.
What experiment? You're conducting an experiment here?
Silence, did you hurt your hand? Does it get in the way of your work?
I'm fine.
Then I won't ask any more questions. Now is the most critical moment. That you found your way here might just be the help I've needed. I was just complaining how much easier the data processing would be if you were here. Lately, Actually, never mind.
Tell me, what kind of experiment are you running?
There has only ever been one area of research I fully dedicate my energy to.
Chimerism.
Precisely. This is the last question to be answered in a chimera research.
But this is... Professor, what are all these documents? The text in them seems...
Quite evil, right? This is an ancient Sarkaz tome that records the history of a certain ethnic branch. The Sarkaz branch is not only enjoys long lifespans, but can even transcend the shackles of physical form and exist in a purely spiritual state. They have been dubbed the Revenants. The pronunciation can be a bit esoteric, but I'm sure you'll be able to find some records in Victorian. Silence. Have you ever considered what chimerism does at the level of the soul?
a soul chimera?
These revenants, the so-called soul in ancient originium arts and Sarkaz witchcraft, can they be called, posteriori?
Are you trying to create the artificial consciousness?
You've always been my finest student. This is something I've been working on for decades, to little avail. That is, until Ferdinand told me that he and Dorothy had jointly produced this particular transmitter.
Do I respect Parvis's dedication to his research, or do I think it's foolish? I can never say someone's dedication is foolish, or else I'm gonna be talking shit about myself in that case. Because I understand the grind, the struggle, the obsession. Like, as a gacha player, I understand that all too well. So I can never say it's, like, talk shit about that kind of obsession.
You can't begin to imagine how excited I was, Silence. I was absolutely sure that the properties of the transmitter were sufficient to form the soil from which artificial consciousness could be born. However, in this land, disturbances will always exist no matter how sophisticated the lab is. These disturbances have plagued me for the longest time. There are so many possibilities. Perhaps the energy used to excite the transmitter was insufficient. Perhaps the laboratory was not sealed off enough. Perhaps originium interferes with the generation and aggregation of consciousness. But none of that matters anymore. All mysteries will finally be unraveled today. This will be my final research project. The most optimal research environment is about to take shape.
Professor Parvis, you're responsible for using transmitter to solve ARC-01's accuracy control problem. This is the new transmitter core.
Kristen wanted to do something she saw as taking a risk. She thought her work should be meaningful. I hate to be a critic of my peers' efforts, but let's be honest. We researchers have been cowards for far too long. Mediocrity, boredom, risk aversion, indecisiveness, silence. Those of us with the knowledge and ability to do more than just explore or progress. We carry science upon our shoulders, are commanded by it, are driven by it. It requires us to take on responsibilities that only a strong soul can endure. Usher in a new era.
Usher in a new era?
Silence. You deserve to be here with me to witness this crowning achievement. Soon, very soon now. The dark ages of mediocrity will come to an end, and the pantheon of science must return.
You're shaking all over. I've rarely seen you like this.
Is that so? Perhaps the transmitter's reaction is getting a bit too intense. Maybe I really am getting too old. I'm sure you can relate with me, Silence.
Yes, I can. I can see you really been looking forward to this moment.
Of course.
Then there's one thing I have to make clear. I will destroy this transmitter core.
What?
I mean, I'm putting a stop to everything that's happening here.
Silence is just like, sorry guys, party's over, time to go home. Oof. That is big oof. Aw, that's cute if Barvis wants to be one of them. Like a Fairy or heck, even a Revenant at this point.
Whether it's Control's plan or just your personal ambitions, all this has to be re-examined. That's what I'm here for.
Silence! Why are you putting a damper on the party? Come on, Silence. Let the old man achieve his dream of becoming a chimera. Come on, he's trying his best and he's experimenting on himself.
I assume he's not experimenting on anyone else right now, just himself.
That girl shook your allegiance to science, but I've always believed that you had the makings of a researcher. And as such, I never really blamed you. But this time, whether or not this is some ridiculous joke, I'm not going to stand for it. I'll have you apologize to me, Silence.
I won't take back a single word I said, Professor. I don't think I've done anything wrong, be it back then or now. What you people are really after is wanton power.
That's absurd. You couldn't be more wrong, Silence. That's right, say what you will about me craving power, because I know what kind of research is important, and what kind of research can shape the future. What, are you going to regurgitate that old platitude about science belonging to the masses? No! Let me tell you, Silence, that science belongs to the Uber-Menschen, the Supermen. The mediocre can go elect their politicians and kiss the feet of their betters. Of their betters. But only science is above their meddling.
What about you then? Are you part of the Uber-Menschen that you aspire to?
The chip is already sailed for me. But if the consciousness I create is rational enough, grand enough, then it can.
It can't, Professor. If you don't even have a faith in humanity, what makes you think that this nascent consciousness can supersede everything?
You don't understand.
You've poured your heart and soul into the field of chimeric research, attempting to time after time to craft powerful creations through bioengineering. Is it all because you can't run from your own weakness?
Me? Silence. I won't allow you to throw baseless speculation around like that. This is my last hope to break free from mediocrity.
I didn't expect to see you here. My former defense colleagues.
That's right, Director Saria. Former colleagues. We are now employees of Components Control Section.
Components Control.
You aren't allowed past this point.
You're doing a better job than last time. I appreciate the sentiment. You all know what Kristen is trying to do. All this accomplishes is... I don't know, and I don't particularly care. You know my ID number from Ryan, Saria. 011. That was before Jara came. Kristen and I interviewed you, James. Back then, I'd offered some other companies, including Volvart Kochinsky and Beachbrella, but I didn't give them a second thought. Because I always believed in you. You and Kristen, I believed you two were different from the rest of them.
Oh, true. His research is similar to the Ager.
That was just your ego speaking, James. This whole place is about to crash. I'd recommend you hurry up and grab your escape pod.
I'll wait here until the moment we crash. But before that, I want to see something spectacular. Saria? Nasi described it to us.
Saria notices the entire corridor shifting.
Is that... I've never seen the land from this high up before. The HAM HRR has begun altitude adjustment. Out of the way! There's no time! Damn it! What's going on? This blasted thing is spitting! If I had to guess, this would be the altitude adjustment mentioned in the technical manual, which is a step right before secondary excitation. Sir, do you need my help? Why are these doors in the corridor shut? Where's Ferdinand? He stepped away just now. Go after him! Are there no defense systems here other than the partition doors in the corridor? If I had any say in it, this place would be stuffed full of power armor. Freeze, Ferdinand. Got you. I need you to leave me alone, Colonel. Every minute here is precious. And dealing with you would waste all my energy. I thought we were peas in a pod, Ferdinand. Sober rationalists who would weigh the pros and cons before making a decision. Looks like I had the wrong read on you. Come with us. The beam excitation reading is 1.22. A constant should be introduced here to renormalize the entire formula. What the hell are you talking about? I'm laughing at you, Blake. I'm laughing at how pathetic you are, your power, your medals, your rank in the DoD. You never lost sight of those. But now, we're standing in an altitude that few have ever touched, surrounded on all sides by scientific miracles. Just by reaching your hands out, we're on the cusp of plucking a new formulae from these instruments. Take a good look. Here. All the honors and accolades you've clung to are so small, so insignificant. And what about your Rhine lab, Ferdinand? Haven't you been fixated on that? Let me make a correction. I've been fixated on what Rhine lab represents. Rhine lab is my toolbox, my ladder, my arm. But it is not my purpose. In case you've forgotten, I can proudly proclaim that I am one of the finest high-energy physics in the land. I'm a physicist in the land. No, in both the land and the skies. What I've been fixated on has always been science itself.
I like how this event has been all about obsessions. Everyone's different obsessions.
Kristen. She created all this and let it go to waste. A truly prodigal genius she is. And I envy her. But I also have to admit, it's been an incredible ride. And so, each and every second of my time is insanely valuable, and I can't afford to waste a moment on you.
It's because Ferdinand finally realized his feelings for Kristen. He thought he hated her, but no, he's like, dang, I actually do like her. Gosh darn it.
Listen to me, Ferdinand. Don't forget who you take orders from, and who gave you your new lease on life. Colonel, do you know how to stop a curious scientist? You either satisfy him or you kill him. Alright. Get it over with. Don't waste time. One last thing I'd like to remind you of, soldiers. The HAM HRR will crash after reactivation, taking all of us with it. All this data might mean nothing to you, but your lives, I trust, are very important. If you want to know where the escape pods are, you shouldn't be in such a hurry. As for you, Blake, I have an extra bolt, either for yourself or for the one you answer to. Doesn't matter to me. Just don't break my instruments.
Let me see, where do I want to keep the direction going? I think I want to face down. You know, facing down is good. Yeah, down good. Of course, Kristen's event would be like the longest one. Because Kristen is built different. For the love of Kristen. Oh gosh, I gotta destroy that thing real quick. At least hopefully I can destroy it. If not, oof. And then over here seems good. Yeah, good. Please go down, thing up there. Actually, no, it's fine. Now that I have Mudrock here. Yeah, no fear. I felt a tinge of fear until Mudrock was here. Mudrock will save the day. Okay, I want to keep her alive. Let me just decide where I want to put her. That seems fair. Okay. Okay, might as well put her here now. This be fine, totally. Or maybe not. No, it's fine. Parvis is always a weirdo, though. He's normal. Ferdinand, though, he got slightly redeemed. Now that he's accepting his emotions. No, I let Susie go poof. I feel terrible now. How dare I? No, we got through. Ah well. It's okay. Redo later. But Susie, come back to me. Please, girl, come back. I need you. You're the chosen one. There she is. Oh, there's only a few enemies left. There's no fear. Yeah, no fear now. Sorry, Silver Ash.
I've been memorizing the basic structure of the central nervous system lately, over and over again, from top to bottom.
Isn't that one of the assignments they give you in an intro biology course?
Yes, it's one of the absolute fundamentals. If I were to ask this question to any of my students, should they be stumped for even a second, I would drop the grade down to a C.
That's intense.
But these days, I haven't been able to recite it from memory, not even a single time. I keep stopping partway, I keep forgetting. I keep starting from the top, going around in circles. Every morning, I sit from 5 to 7 at the breakfast restaurant across Rhine headquarters, and I give it my best shot. My nerves are deteriorating. Everything I've studied my whole life is now abandoning me in this moment.
That sounds so sad. Okay, yeah, that is very, very sad.
Maybe in 5 or even 3 years' time, I'll become a demented old man who can only bask in the sun, having forgotten all the pride and fulfillment I've enjoyed over the past 58 years. Silence. I refuse to go out like this.
Professor.
My fate is already sealed. Now, get out of my lab! Don't you dare touch it!
No. Silence, why? She is here to put a stop to all the fun. You speak of Ubermenschen and strong souls. People like that actually exist. People capable of transcending time, limitations, and this very land itself. But Professor, you are no such man. Your words of the weak, mediocre masses you so ridicule. They are the desires of a human.
Transcending time, limitations, and the land itself?
In the midst of Minos and Chirag, gods and bestowers, masters and deciders of all things in creation. But science is by no means a god. It is just a path for people to traverse,
It needs to be examined from time to time, repaired from time to time, and reined in from time to time.
Yeah, she's basically saying, no, you guys are having too much fun.
Like, Silence, you know Kristen's not actually gonna fire beams at the land.
It's like, I don't care, I'm still gonna stop her. And now with Parvis.
The fruits it bears should not be the grandiose vision of megalomaniacs, but precisely the mediocre expectations of the masses. No, no! Get away from it, Silence! It's over, Professor. What you need is rest and recovery. After this, I'll take you to the hospital. The transmitter hub has been destroyed. Be it your experiment or Kristen's plans, without the transmitter, there shouldn't be. Ha ha ha! Transcending this very land. Yes, perhaps. I made another tremendous achievement that even I didn't notice. I just happened upon it, without investing so much time into it. As a matter of fact, it didn't even arise from one of my own projects. But that doesn't matter, does it? Of course, of course! Why hadn't I noticed? We'd all been drawn in by her. From the very beginning, we've always walked the same path.
The old man stares blankly at the display panel. On the monitoring screen, a giant man-made ring, suspended atop of the sky zenith, is illuminated by the beam of energy, gathering within it a majestic platinum. Perhaps because the transmitter's hub was destroyed, or perhaps because the scouring of the beam was too intense, the HRR start to shake slightly.
Why? Has the transmitter signal not stopped?
Let me ask you, Silence. If you have no way of becoming a leader, then what shame is there in being a follower? If I admit my weakness and indecisiveness, then it is a perfectly valid option for me to follow a strong soul, a truly strong soul, is it not? This was meant to be my backup plan, but now...
What are you doing?
I've suffered mediocrity for too long. I can still catch up to her. She too must shine. All my hard work, all my pursuits must have meaning.
It's like, Silence, you stopped my fun. But it's okay, girl. I want to... As long as Kristen can have her fun.
It's fine. All for you, Kristen. At least, this is much better than becoming a vegetative old man. The energy density is already sufficient, as long as...
Professor, Parvis, what are you doing?
Silence feels the transmitter's influence on her fading. At the same time, the consciousness of the elderly Cabernet in front of her is rapidly dissipating.
When the Transcendent One sets out on her journey, I do hope that on her long, long path, she won't mind being followed by a timid hitchhiker.
How he's going there spiritually. That's fun. You know, I'm cool with what Paris is doing. Heck, I'd probably do something similar if I was super old like that. It's like, dang, my memory's not what it's used to be. My body hurts. You know, I think I want to become... I'm gonna become a revenant now. Yeah, sounds good.
At least, I can become a part. Silence. Look.
Are you merging your consciousness with the transmitter to make up for the hub's destruction? No! Drat these data. What's going to happen if the phases are thrown completely out of order? How do I stop these responses? Professor, Parvis! This is completely futile. Your consciousness can't be preserved within the transmitter. The transmission will only destroy your nervous system. A faint sigh, perhaps a slight chuckle. Parvis's body has become an empty shell, no longer host to any conscious will. All attachments, all his cowardice, dissipated without a trace.
Well, Silence, he only went this route because you destroyed the hub.
Professor?
Within the monitor, the trembling of the HRR seems to gradually calm down. He completed his experiment in the most unexpected way.
No. How could this...
I feel like Parvis had one of the best endings. Yeah, he had one of the best endings. He went out fulfilling his dream. Like, that is honestly goals. I applaud you, sir. Like, I hate your other experiments, but this one I can approve of. Because honestly, I'd probably do something similar. Silence, silence! Silence, are you in there? So you really were here. Step back. I'm coming in. I finally found you. You had me scared to death, Silence. When I saw you snatch the car keys out of those soldiers and Florida out of here, I knew you were about to do something really, really dangerous. This place is crazy scary. Not only is this place crawling with soldiers up and down, up above, but even I got a real jump scare from that exploding energy beam.
Ifrit, where are you?
To save you, of course, duh. Did you know I learned how to drive? A real shame you didn't get to see my mad skills. With my driving skills, I might even get bumped up to elite. To an elite up, What's wrong, Silence? Why is Parvis here?
Why isn't he moving? I don't know. In the end, he achieved his goal. On the other hand, I haven't really achieved anything. I was thinking, had I been more decisive, had I been more determined... Ifrit, how am I supposed to stop people like them? Such powerful, brightly shining souls? Will I never be able to reach Saria or Kristen?
Stop joking around already, Silence!
Ifrit frenetically grabs Silence by the collar. This isn't the Silence she knows.
You're the strongest woman I've ever seen. Rosmondas is pretty powerful and so is Blaze. All of Rhodes Island's operators have their own special skills. But you're the best out of all of them, Silence. It's because you've done so much for me. So much that to be honest, I don't even know where to start. I pushed through everything. You and Saria both. You both overcame it all. I know. What you're trying to do is really huge and really complicated. The guys you're trying to stop might also be very, really powerful and really hard to deal with. So, that's why you should let more people help you. They have so many helping them out, should you have to fight all by yourself? Obviously, you have me and Saria too. We're here by your side. I don't agree that Silence didn't achieve anything. Like, heck, she helped rescue and raise Ifrit. And I consider that a win. And heck, she even befriended Telopsis and they're besties and they work together. So Silence is the very, very supportive mother character, if anything. Silence looks at the kid in front of her. Compared to 3 years ago, her complexion is much more robust. Her body is also stronger and her entire being brims with vitality. The girl's health is a product of her own efforts. It's just, when did she get so tall?
You're right. I need to get ready. I have to keep going. And you? It's because of you. The SHAFT's output phase may be nearing completion, and it won't be safe in this building. Come, Ifrit. Let's get out of here. Also, someone's waiting for us to pick her up.
Ooh, back to the eyeball.
As rudimentary a toy as it may be, the spear of a secondary civilization breaking through the sky for the first time was enough to render this nascent world dumbfounded. Dr. Misaki, regardless of how you see yourself today, you will find you will need to hear the truth I speak. I chose to forsake my duty. I chose to forsake these lives that I've overseen for nigh immemorial aeons. They are your kin, and thus you have the right to know. That is all.
What? My kin? I don't know them. What?
It's been too long. Are the shadows of the civilization still deep within your memories, Dr. Misaki? Have any fragments floated to the surface?
Nope. Or maybe, yeah, that.
Doctor! It seems like there is at least something there. In any case, there's no point in rehashing the grand visions of the past. Just use your imagination according to whatever impressions still remain. But regardless of what you remember, we ended up with far fewer survivors than you might imagine. From great inspiration was the Preserver Project born. Special life support devices, unshakable underground fortresses. When the calamities receded, they would be the seeds of new life. But destruction came sooner and more overwhelming than anyone could have anticipated. Though at that time, people had already come up with certain methods. Most of them fail to understand, including she who stands behind you, or beside you, let alone the blank slate that is you. We were born out of desperation and not fully prepared. A pure advanced AI would only increase the risk, so one person made the ultimate sacrifice. This one volunteered to remain permanently trapped in a cage of consciousness with an electric cloud, forever locked in an immovable sarcophagus deep underground.
That kind of sounds like what Pyrus would have wanted for himself.
So you mean, your consciousness is... As of this very moment, in every sarcophagus, is a person to wake up.
Me? I like the second option. But, you know, let's not make it about them. I don't know them. It's about me. Me?
Correct. But none of them will ever wake up again. They lost that ability long ago.
Even though you have no memory of who you are, you feel a part of your body spasm violently. A dull pain travels from your heart to the palm of your hand. For a moment, the name of this emotion eludes you. Your daily life at Rhodes Island often making you forget the quandary of the core, at the core of your existence. Kin.
Doctor.
Kelsey hesitates to speak. You want her to say something to comfort you. You want her to be as omniscient as she always has been in the past, offering you solutions, answering the questions you've always had. But you see only doubt and sorrow in her eyes. Sorrow is an uncommon emotion for her, even less so than if sorrow is for your sake.
If you came here to only stop Kristen, turn and leave. Nothing is going to stop us, even if the meaning for death is itself but a gamble. I've already made up my mind. The memory bereft Dr. Misaki and Ten, who has managed to survive to this point. If you know the responses, then we have nothing more to say.
No!
No? What is it you want then? Do you wish to recover your memories and the truth, or do you insist on stopping Kristen?
I don't want to stop Kristen.
You can't just accomplish any of it. Your amnesia is hardly so simple. You're just being pushed along numbly, thinking you've acquired faith and new ideals. Ignorant hope is but the harbinger of despair. Something we know so very well. Why not enjoy your hard-fought renewed lace in life, and instead insist on broaching the truth? Do you really know anything about this land? The threat from the ocean grows day by day, while the mighty Agarian civilization remains arrogant as ever. They might be powerful now, but they still underestimate the ocean. Though the demons in the hollows deep in the Sami's depths show little tendency to expand, they cannot be ignored. They're like cracks entrenched deep within the ice, presaging a collapse that may soon occur at any time. But these are only the fringes beyond civilization's soul. They were never the immediate cause of our slain future. Inequality and prejudice, war and strife, the people are far from understanding the value of unity, are fundamentally unable to set aside differences and old grudges to talk about peace and the future. Even when catastrophes descended, the cogs of Ursus's war machine did not stop turning for a moment, and the peasants of Kashimirish were not exempted from brutal punishment and taxation. Unity is the eternal dilemma, even today, There are those who cry for the warriors of old. They refuse to face the suffering as well as those who died in vain. They may not even be able to see these words. It's too soon. They're still too weak. A few lucid individuals do not represent the entire nation. Columbia will soon seize their desired advantages from Kristen, expand their appetite, and extend their hypocritical forks and knives towards Bolivar, Sami, and Sargon. What Kristen did is a far cry from the feat of strength, scoping out the future of humanity. Even a slight deviation, and all this will become but a clarion call for the next round of conquest. Is that what you, Ah 10, Kelsey, think of Terra now? Fine then, I understand. For one who has walked with the civilizations born of this land, your opinion holds referential value. Since you each have your own reasons for not wishing to budge, then let us test each other for the using ancient ways. Compared to the pure rhetorical question, persuasion alone, I would need some more basal behaviors to evaluate your quality and revise a plan. Provided you are qualified. I accept. Whatever you say. Debate. Allow me to explain in advance that the things you've brought up are not outside my knowledge. Through Columbia's databases, I have heard of this history. But I must reassess whether the two of you have the qualifications and the ability to warrant discussing larger plans together, whether or not Terra can remain in the hands of people like you, whether you have the right to debate the future. The time Kristen spent here with me goes beyond language. Hold on, you two. We're about to begin.
Kristen probably wouldn't even respond. She'd just be like, meh. She'll shrug her shoulders and just leave. I'm being teleported? This place. I've been isekai'd. Oh, it's the mysterious lady who held my hand. Dr. Misaki Nobunaga. ... You really don't remember me. Priestess? Priestess? No, you're not. But just now I was.
Yes. This is just her cognitive resonance. Originally, this technology was supposed to be used to check the vital signs of those sleeping in the sarcophagi, or to preserve their dignity. Just like entering your dreams, shaping your dreams. For you, I am that dream. So you're really just an illusion created by the machine? So you are my dream?
She's my dream girl. Ayy.
Close enough. But there's still a fundamental difference. Just as the philosophers and interlocutors did their palaces of old, when thoughts collide and words are exchanged, cognition intermingles with the boundary between self and non-self blurs. You currently play the role of the doctor in your dialogue with me, but in reality, I am the one who plays the doctor, whereas you are actually me.
Oh. Now I have become the waifu.
But your consciousness is continuous. This is not equivalent to the illusion in front of you, or your own image of changing.
What did I make of her design? She cute.
The only word that can describe the sensation is dreamlike. You will not see a cold, impassive machine calling itself preserver. And that will not see the helpless and dazed you. It is only in dreams that our subjective perspectives are no longer distinct. Come, don't forget that this manner of cognitive resonance has a humorous name: debate. Oh, of course it is your subconscious mind that finds this word humorous. Push open that door. There remains a question we must resolve.
A question? Do you really have to test people in their dreams?
A question? No. It's not that I'm trying to test you, by all means. This is not one of Preserver's cryptic question and answer sessions, or one of Kelsey's rhetorical traps. The one who will pose this question is Dr. Misaki Nobunaga. What's that supposed to mean? Myself, hold on. Silently push the door open. But I've drifted along, never making things hard for myself. It's like, but I've drifted along, never making things hard for myself. Floats away with my noodle arms. You, yourself. After losing your memories, you quickly got accustomed to the life at Rhodes Island. You've always known that Kelsey was hiding something from you, but over the years, you've both been overwhelmed by the challenges you face. It has even caused you to lose your will to pursue the truth. In other words, your curiosity about the truth ended with Babel. When did you start thinking to yourself, this is fine? Do you really have that same obsession in the bottom of your heart to recover your memories?
Who needs memories when you got gotcha waifus and husbandos?
As more trust was built, certain truths gradually came to light, which even led you to self-doubt. But the two of you overcame these difficulties, which is why you're here today. But what about before that, long before you took Amiya's hand in Chernobog, long before Babel? Who are you? What are you? Where are you going? Doctor, who are you? I'm Dr. Misaki Nobunaga. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. No, I am. There's something I want to tell you, Doctor. The doctor I placed my trust in is the one the same with the doctor who woke up in Chernobog and has fought by her side ever since. That's what I believe. That's what I've always believed. But in reality, Dr. Kelsey and Teresa, do they really see the commander of Babel and the doctor of Rhodes Island as the same person? I don't know. I just don't know. All I remember is a doctor who was so kind to me, the doctor who saved me. If the truth really is, as Dr. Kelsey says... Amiya. Oh? Dr. Kelsey! The doctor is tired and needs rest. There's still much to think about and digest. If there's anything else you'd like to ask, come back tomorrow. Rhodes Island still has a long future ahead of us, so there's no need to rush. Okay. Sorry, Doctor. I'm sure I caught you off guard by asking you this out of the blue. Hardly. Actually, I also want to know. Don't dwell on it too much. There's not much time left before we reach the outskirts of Londinium.
Londinium? But this is Londinium?
The next thing in the itinerary is a meeting between the elite operators, and we'll need you to sit in. Hurry, come this way.
Okay.
Why?
Chernobog has fallen to an atypical circumstance with regard to the infected. Rhodes Island, as we are now, cannot afford the risk of getting involved.
The doctor will be our indispensable linchpin.
Is this when you're talking about worth a dozen or more Rhodes Island lives? If it's worth it, then I'm on board. But if even a single operator raises a concern, then count me out. ...
What?
Don't move, Rhodes Island Commander! Ha, now there's nothing that white-haired feline can do. Even if she could kill the captain, even if she could kill Patriot, she can't protect you. Have you ever thought about our lives? Have you ever looked at this land from our point of view? Of course not. You don't even know a damn thing about the kind of bonds we share, or how we've said goodbye to our parents, or how we've painted our cheeks with the ashes of our best friends. Killing your Union fighter, depriving someone of his life, it's just like checking a box for you. Who the hell do you think you are? Have you ever given a serious thought about what it means for us to live and die?
Of course I have. No, I haven't. I'ma just go ... here. Watch out, Doctor! Wait a Mia! Stop! Don't do it! Wait a Mia! I feel like the Preserver and Kelsey are just trolling me.
You're not always the main character of this world. Just like your life, your past. Take a look outside of the glass piece of PRTS. You can never understand everything, or be everywhere at once. Only those who face the truth deserve to be called courageous. The ridiculous thing is, you don't have the slightest idea of what the truth is. You've been kept in the dark, you don't understand it, and you're frustrated, even angry at your own ignorance. In the end, what more are you than the projection of the pincer beasts in a bucket around you? They all want to use you for a measure of consolation. To use you for what they want to obtain.
The reunion members already impelled by black arts point to the direction of those elite operators. But when you follow their fingertips, you see only a few filebees flying by.
How many among them face their own destiny? How many more stood behind Rhodes Island, eventually becoming arrogant overseers? What about you? You think you can completely sever yourself from the past just because you've been shaped by new memories? Even if you can, how will you reconcile yourself with this new you? The onlookers knowing nothing about you, yet they want to become you, and achieve their vulgar desires through you. You.
Are you truly worthy of trust? Do you need to be entrusted with such a heavy burden? ... My conscience would be like, was it really worth spending all that money on top of Ibuki Doji this morning? Yes, Sophie, yes. Are you sure you didn't want to get this instead? It's like, shut your face, Soph.
I would punch myself. I would punch my dream selves.
I don't plan on abandoning my forgotten past. I've never tried to escape the responsibilities that came with my past. But if the past does not help me fight Rhodes Island, if the past has no way of influencing the present, well, if the past does not help me fight for Rhodes Island, then I can only see it as insignificant. This is not a matter you can decide on so cavalierly, Doctor. Can a criminal be exonerated of his sins just because he lost his memories? If a good person loses her memories, does that erase the good that she has done? For you in particular, your memories are not so simple. Perhaps you yourself are not aware of what you have lost. What manner of answer, then, are you able to provide?
Good question, milady.
Doctor, hand! Take my hand! I will find the meaning within it. Then as the doctor, I will make the correct choice. You know, I will find the meaning within it. It is not the memories of the past that guide me, or even the events from then to now that have shaped me. I am me. Just as I've always been.
Ooh, the ocean.
I understand your thought process. Just as you've always been, choice words from someone who cannot even recall events from a few years ago. Even when you come to grasp the truth, be it the past or present, it is because you simply know it, not because you remember it, right? You are a completely new person, but don't worry, you're also the version of yourself closest to your true nature. Because you gained a chance to pursue hope once more. I'm truly curious of what the future holds for you, Kelsey and Amia. Sadly, it is not a future that I will be a part of. Teresa? Are you Teresa? Teresa?
Don't worry about it. I'm just doing a little favor. After all, I'm just a phantom born from the debate mechanism. Whether I'm real or fake was never that important to begin with. But please remember, whether or not it came from the deepest recesses of your consciousness, just as I've always been, this will become the most important footnote of your life. Only when you truly realize the significance of the words you blurted out can you live up to those who love you and those you love.
I feel like everyone in my dream world basically acted in character. Not just Teresa.
We should all grasp our own destinies. That way, there will no longer be any such thing as preordained destinies in this land. You are the only antidote, but also the poison that can destroy everything. What truly hinders us is neither originium nor catastrophe, neither sea nor sky, but rather ourselves. Believe in Amiya, believe in Kelsey. The dark, endless night is quickly approaching, and you all must become our sole ray of light. Until next time.
Wow, the sole ray of light. I like the sound of that. What is this one called? Lost Amongst the Stars. Oh, okay, good. Just one exit. I appreciate that. Thanks. Makes my life easier. Wait, no. I want to see how painful it is just with these guys. After I drink some water. Delicious hydration.
Over here! Surround her! Don't let her through! Attention, all forces, get ready!
The feeling of weightlessness returns. Calcium crystals grow rapidly, tethering Saria's hand to the corridor floor.
The second disorder wave is starting. Disorder? Nasi's magnum opus.
Speaking of nasty,
You've been following me around for the past couple days. Does defense have nothing else to do? 16 of your Rhine technological park modifications do not comply with our established safety regulations. Speaks in sarcasm, disorder. You.
regarding about Musis, on the last stream we saw her in Vivarium. She wanted Kristen to take her with her. That's her dream she trusted with Kristen, hoping it would improve her species is on that Vivarium of what's left of it. What to make of her dream? Well, it's understandable. If she cannot survive in the world due to health concerns, going to a world where she and her people can live without, originium to make them unhealthy is understandable. It reminds me of how a lot of people move here because they need it because of the air. Because, a lot of people do move here for health concerns, so I understand that.
Abandon the sense of balance inside your mind. Instead of fighting the chaos, try adapting to its rhythm instead. Find what you've been looking for? You reconfigured several key structures in the park. You don't seem to be following any rules, but the connections between the components make sense. I could never have imagined that structures like these would be possible. A linear language constricts most people's imagination. If you have a specific future in mind, you must first construct a dialogue with the destination instead of brute forcing a route.
No brute force.
Abandon balance. Perceive the destination.
She frees up both of her hands. The next shift in gravity comes abruptly, and as she hits the ceiling, she takes the opportunity to maneuver her trajectory and jumps over the soldiers hot on her tail. Calcium crystals follows in her wake, drawing an arc. Whee! And yeah, definitely, I relate to the feeling of obsession. It's what drives me.
Manipulating raw calcium in the same way microbes exchange their composition. How very enlightening. The materials morph extremely quickly and are adaptable and combinable with various organs, and thus have promising medical applications. This has been your research field ever since you were in college, yes? Why not continue? Because it's dangerous. Are you referring to the ethical issues arising from the construction of artificial organs with this technique? More than that. Giving new techniques to doctors may save lives, but if they fall into the hands of criminals, they could also be reduced to weapons of destruction. Ha ha! I almost forgot how rich with calcium our bodies are. Therefore, I determined that my research in this field must be suspended until effective control measures have been established. It's a terrible pity you know that. If you ever change your mind, Ryan Lab would certainly have 2 sections specializing in life sciences. Ryan Lab needs a defense section more. I'm giving you my data in the hopes that you can combine our experiences to better evaluate the risks of chimeric experiments. Don't go too far, Parvis. The cost of pushing our boundaries will be too high for us all. Then, where does the boundary lie? Countless studies have shown the evolution of life has not been a gradual process, contrary to the theories of the earliest scholars in this field. We wouldn't be standing here right now if we'd only been taking one step at a time. Furthermore, if we presume that there is, indeed, a boundary drawn by a higher will that determines how we should be acting, shouldn't we try to look in the eye first, before we decide to kneel or raise a flag of rebellion? A boundary. This corridor is also a boundary. If I keep walking along the corridor, I'll never reach whatever the eye is.
The HRR, this ring-shaped laboratory, has from its inception been designed to subvert people's perceptions. It is the realization of Kristen's dreams, the real product of the Ryan Lab's components control section, the combined wisdom of practically every Ryan Lab director. Sari is familiar with how each of them operate, but in the past, she had not allowed herself to think in the same way.
This makes no sense. No, it doesn't matter. I've long been disgusted with this wall.
And so she punches it. Legit.
The telescope we borrowed from the Stargazers Association finally broke down. Don't worry about it. The view here is great. You can see many stars with just the naked eye. Well, you go look for a nice place to sit down. I'll try fixing it.
Wow, a great superhuman lady, Saria. I'm so curious. Is there honestly anything you can't do?
I recommend you check my personal course electives. I won't be able to do anything if I'm not studying.
You're a terrifying studying machine. Well, it's so cold today. Want a candy? Cream puffs? Hot chocolate? All the above, please.
Consuming sweets this late at night is not conducive to good health.
Sorry, I feel like you're calling me out. That's what I do. Boring. Kristen, look at that rock. What do you think it looks like? Oh, come on, it looks like Saria, right? It's so hard and yet it shines so perfectly.
Like the stars.
Kristen grabs a shining stone and looks up. She seems to be comparing it to something as she moves the rock around.
Something's wrong. There should be a star here, but there isn't one. I've done so many calculations, and yet I haven't figured out the trajectory of the stars.
You've already failed so many times. You still believe it's measurable?
I prefer to say that I don't believe. I don't believe in all the rules I've been taught. I don't believe that humanity will never be able to pierce through the star pod, let alone believe that the stars are only as small as we see them.
There's no way you believe we can fly all the way to the stars, right? I thought only a kid would believe stuff like that.
Children, poets, and scientists. Whoever said I wasn't one? Scientists do not believe that dreams are false, because what they're essentially doing is providing to all humanity that dreams can come true.
Gosh, you really have a one-track mind. So Kristen, when a Rhine Lab becomes a full-fledged company, public company, are we gonna keep that lab on the name or change it to Rhine something else? I'm studying ecology and Sari's research is bioengineering and microorganisms, so the two of us are down to keep it nice and generic. 2 against 1. Us in the life sciences. Just kidding. I mean, you're dead set on soaring through the skies and your field is high energy physics. So wouldn't you want to call it Rhine Physics instead?
No. We'll stick with Rhine Lab. It's a good name.
Yeah, I prefer Rhine Lab over Rhine Physics. Rhine Lab sounds nicer. Yeah, I consider desire and purpose like similar.
Nonetheless, it's an obsession.
Sari wants to be dad and Silence wants to be mom.
I want to know exactly what the stars we're looking at are. I want to know what's outside the barrier encasing around us. I want to know, if we really manage to walk amongst the stars and look back from over there, what kind of land we've actually been living on. All the questions I seek have mostly to do with not just me, but we.
And we are all beings trapped in this teeny tiny corner. How are you planning to compensate me for breaking my vivarium, Saria?
You knew Kristen's plans in the very beginning.
Are you talking about Arc-01 or Galeria Stellaria?
Arc-01 was never more than a front to deceive the military, a pile of scrap paper that was never feasible. Galeria Stellaria is a real laboratory here, and you could also say the name of this aircraft. It certainly is a name that she would come up with.
Yep, the only thing she thinks about.
So you replicated your vivarium up here. Is Kristen intending to break through the barrier with it?
Just tearing the star pod open won't be enough for her, you know.
Without a doubt. Her fixation was never the barrier, but the realm beyond that even our ancestors have yet to reach. She truly wants to step inside that deep outer space. She wants to leave everything that can be left behind in that dimension. And that includes
each and every life present in this vivarium. As soon as I heard about the Galeria Stellaria project, I started gathering up a variety of plant species that might even be able to survive in an environment outside the barrier. I just checked, and there's 753 different types here. Kristen put them on the slab. I'm pretty happy about it. We'll be able to find our answer together real soon.
You want to know if life can exist among the stars, and especially yourself.
Yep. My people and we've been trapped in the cage that just continues to shrink. As time goes by, we can only follow what happens to water that can't be contained. Wind that dissipates, trees that wither, and vanish from this ever-changing land. And then she said to me, "Then let's go. This land is not your home, but beyond it, there might just be a space untainted by Originium that will really accept you and your people."
A mere hypothesis. So far, no instrument has managed to penetrate or even approach the barrier. So there's no basis to assert the possibility of Originium's absence from beyond the barrier. let alone the total lack of evidence to suggest that life can survive in the depths of outer space.
I know. It's just a dream. There's no evidence or data to support it. And it goes against all the scientific knowledge I have. But scientists don't believe that dreams are false because what they're essentially doing is proving to all humanity that dreams can come true.
I remember Kristen said that.
Yes, she's the same as ever. What about us? Saria? Have we changed at all? Water spreads out like hands in all directions, pinning Saria to the wall. Saria has never seen a wall this fierce out of Milces. It is like a waterfall, like a tsunami, as if the water is howling. Calcium crystals continuously grow from Saria's hands, but they fail to take form under the sweeping waves. She tries to find Milces, but all she finds in a stream after stream of water are the eyes of an elf hidden in the depths of each wave. Eyes filled with serenity and grief. The water is howling, but the elf is crying. I really wish we could be together forever, just like on a starlit night. But there's no way I can hold on to the both of you at the same time. Dancing in threes really is too hard.
Gah!
I won't give you a chance to stop her, because 2 against 1. This time I'm on her side.
Milces.
That's sad for Milces. She wants all of them to be together, but sorry. Sorry, Milces, it's not meant to be. Sleep, Saria. Go to sleep. You're all black and blue and probably about to pass out. There's no need for you to keep fighting, because our dreams are about to come true. So just close your eyes, and the water will take you away from here. By the time you wake up, Kristen and I will have reached our destination.
No.
A solid calcium crystal does not stab at the water in vain, but into the side of the bulkhead. Saria is well aware that the next disorder is about to happen. Warning. Energy overload initiated. All secondary compartmental gravity systems and dampers have failed. Attention, all personnel. Energy overload initiated. Eek? Why would it suddenly?
Sudden? No. You were right. Kristen has never changed.
The instantaneous gravitational shift causes the streams of water to lose direction. The enamel piercing through the bulkhead firmly fixes Saria in the spot, but Milces is tossed around along with her water. Saria!
You're the same as ever. Whenever you get nervous, you forget just how fragile your body is.
No, catch me! I don't want to leave. Not alone.
The energy overload is starting. When it's done charging, this entire platform will collapse. Even if you can get close to, or even break through the barrier, the core cabin will not last long enough. Kristen wants to save you, as do I.
You...
Yes, I want to bring her back. Milces, after gravity returns to normal, leave this place. What happens next is between the two of us.
Saria! No, I gotta hold on to something.
Authentication failed. Your clearance has expired. Galeria Stellaria Vivarium access denied. Your clearance has expired. Galeria Stellaria Vivarium access denied.
Saria, you dummy! Blockhead! Knucklehead! Open the door! I've really been abandoned again. Saria, I hope you make it.
Now come to my Rhodes Island, Milces.
Then again, I did summon her already, so... It's okay. It's okay, Milces. I will never abandon you. Saria stands at the door, leading to the deepest part of the lab, knowing her target is just inside. However, before she can even condense the calcium crystals on her hand, the door lock automatically releases. Compared to the previous area filled with instruments and equipment, This place feels more like a temple to the stars. Sphere made of smooth and flawless metal shows off its dazzling beauty under the soft light. Spheres of varying sizes slowly glide under the predetermined orbits, one after another, with their paths changing now and then. The irregularities intertwine with the two, but contrary to expectations, they form an indescribable sense of harmony. Whether it be the positions of the stars or how precise their orbits shift, the planetarium exceeds the imaginations of any astrologer. But in the very next moment, those devoted to the stars would probably fly into rage.
Those so-called astrologers are basically misguided zealots. For the past 1,000 years, they've committed themselves to tracking the trajectory of the stars. Every trajectory change that occurs signifies a new revelation, or a meaningful omen to them. Their behavior is not necessarily incomprehensible. The fact that the stars move without a trace is enough to terrify most people. To believe that the stars are mere pawns of an undiscoverable being, that their movements and trajectory changes hold any meaning is obviously the more reassuring choice. However, Kristen extends a hand towards the planetarium. The dome of Galeria Stellario, enveloping the ceiling, suddenly opens itself. False starlight floods the laboratory. Kristen makes a series of gestures with her hand, and in an instant, the planetarium completely transforms. Fake. The stars begin to move erratically. False. Several stars collide with one another. Though they do not shatter, the sound of them crashing into each other instantly destroys the silence of the room. Fabricated. However, Kristen's expression does not change at all. As if everything is as it should be. If the trajectories are really just invisible, then how have we avoided colliding with other stars throughout the last millennium? Are we so special to have avoided such a fate so far? What kind of land have we actually been living on? Where exactly are we headed? These questions, I whispered them in your ears, too many times to count. Can you help me move that planet over there, Saria? A small metallic sphere passes by Saria's hand. Star. Instead of touching it, she lets it fall out of orbit. What a shame. I've been fiddling with these planets before we break the barrier, and no matter how many times I try, they just refuse to stay on the right track. Stop this, Kristen. We still have time to turn back before you hit the barrier with this Galeria Stellaria. Galeria Stellaria. Isn't it exactly how I described it to you before?
Well, I'll find out if their path intertwines or diverges.
Soon to find out. A pity that you'd already left Rhine Lab by the time I built it. But I knew you would come back at the very moment when my dreams were about to be realized. You would be there, whether or not you're with me. Or against me. This time, it's my turn to make the first move.
Kristen lifts her hand, revealing the exoskeleton operating system Saria is most familiar with, and gently makes a fist. Silver liquid spews out from the planetarium behind Kristen, and in an instant, all the planets are thrown out of the orbits, rushing towards a single position at a speed too fast for the naked eye. The entire galaxy pours down on Saria. Ooh, Kristen gave herself a fun upgrade. I'm into that. Let's see. How do I want to face? I want to face up. Up indeed. Yeah, I like up. Up good. Okay, there. Put one person down. Actually, right here. Uh-oh.
No!
Oh, I hate that thing. Okay, that thing is gonna be the most annoying. I don't like it. Oh well. This still be fine. Oh look, it's Kristen. I like that. Egotist, pioneer, loner. Gotta love them titles. I feel for her obsession. Like, I understand that. Like, honestly, same, girl. Cause yeah, I know what it's like to be obsessed. And I don't find anything... Yeah, I don't find that bad. Cause if I found that bad, I'd just be a hypocrite in that case. Oh gosh darn it, girl. Can you just like not stand on there? I'll bonk you now. Okay, come on. Bonk. Kristen, just stop. Oh, over here I'm gonna stop you. Otherwise, you know, I'm on your side, girl. Okay, she's almost down, and... Kristen, like I said, can you just, like, stop? Kristen, no! Bad Kristen. Oh, she's gonna stand on there for me. I actually like that. Yeah, just stand there, Kristen. I'm cool with that. Bonk. Heh. Yeah, time to mess with her some more. Boop. No fear. Yeah, no fear, no fear, no fear. Oh, she's not that bad, actually. Or so far, anyways. Kristen, bestie, come on. Meadow just said it'd be cute. She might suffer in the end too, but oh well. Heh. Yeah, Kristen ain't as bad as those cars. I feel like that one car with the drill is worse. The stars crash to the ground. Someone lifts a head from the pristine white debris scattered all across the floor.
What's the matter, Control? You were faster before. Since you weren't able to kill me, I'll launch my counter-offensive. Don't blink.
The star struck down by Saria's refloat, setting off on a new trajectory. Kristen's fingers flick to the side. Saria's legs suddenly feel 1,000 times heavier.
The gravity shifted? You use this trick to send Mulsis away, but it won't work in me.
Enamel grows beneath Saria's feet like a pair of heavy-duty boots, holding her in place. Oh yeah, her ability works good for this. And then, she begins to move forward step by step.
Instead of refining the way you generate calcium particles, you've simply increased the release speed. The enamel you're generating has gotten even more brittle. A hardy resistance isn't enough to cross the finish line.
A metal planet shatters the enamel barrier, hitting Saria on her shoulder. Saria does not seize her advance. It happens twice and then thrice. Saria continues to speed up.
Saria, stop. Stop? That's what I said to you. I can tell you all about my plans. I know. Then why do you insist on stopping me? There will be no other victims in this plan. I just wanted to set off some harmless fireworks over the skies of Trimonts. The moment HRR finishes its job, both the military and the mainlander will breathe a sigh of relief. The residents of Trimonts will be momentarily captivated by this spectacle unfolding before them in the sky, but soon enough, their focus will be directed towards above, towards other, more deserving concerns. Rhine Lab might be the most affected party here. She will lose her control, possibly several directors, and the confidence of the powerful Colombian organizations. Then you should have stayed on the ground. Clean up the mess, protect those who might be hurt by this, and carry our Rhine Lab through this crisis. You've always been good at that. You forgot again. I resigned a long time ago. People like Blake like to call scientists mad. And we couldn't care any less. But science is supposed to be rational. Kristen, when I first heard the story of your parents, I thought they shouldn't have seen an ending like that. If they hadn't perished in that accident and returned before hitting the barrier, they would have brought back incomparably precious data, as well as the possibility of a second attempt. I admire their will and determination, but I've never been one to approve of sacrifice, even justified and inevitable. Ferdinand, Nasty, Parvis, they and many others always thought me too conservative. They see me as a stickler for the rules, obstructing all of you.
And yeah, this is a conflicting fight. Though Saria, she mentions Parvis. Ha ha ha. Well, if she does stop... Yeah, if she does stop Kristen, Parvis is the only loser. He's gonna be like, in his consciousness form, what? But my dream?
Huh. Can a woman like this even be called a scientist? Even I myself have asked this question. You're the most dedicated truth seeker I know. The truth. Truth is the inertia that comes after order. I believe science can bring us truth, and that truth can restrain madness, bringing about a better society for everyone. Us voyeurs have always been accompanied by an instinctive madness, for as long as we can remember. Violence, savagery. We took an extremely long time just to step out of that chaotic darkness. That's what I've been taught ever since I was small. I used to reason to control myself, and desperately want to confront the madness I see in all of you. But you can't do it, Saria. If you intend to hold on to Rhine Lab by your lonesome, you are sure to be disappointed. Because humanity's thirst for progress is inherently undefeatable. A type of desire, a type of madness, but also a natural instinct, and a feel that has brought us from the desolate barrenlands to where we stand. Which is why I've come here, and not for a fight.
The heavy stars fall on her like a rock slide, and gravity controls the airflow to howl at her entire body. Calcium crystals crumble from head to toe, but the mountaineer is determined to greet the storm with her own form.
Kristen, I almost admitted my own defeat while searching for you, until someone said to me that I should return to my origin. So on my way here, I've been looking back at where we all started. Yes, I dread losing control, and it's not a fear of chaos, but a fear of regression caused by it. So I must progress onward, as humanity must, because for us, the trek is far from over. Indeed, to this day, humanity still lives in the dark. After all, we can't even see through the sky hanging over our heads. The road is long, very, very long. We hold on to more knowledge than the average bystander, so we must shoulder heavier responsibilities. We should ahead of them, eliminate any dangers, and carefully lead them on the path forward. A real pioneer should be clearing the way for all humanity, instead of jumping headfirst into the abyss, never to return. That is my foundation, and I will stand by it. Caught you.
She has weathered the storm. She crosses the galaxy. The final calcium crystals spread from one palm to the other, back to the other, of another, and the metal exoskeleton begins to tremble. The synthetic stars ceaselessly revolve around the two in unison. Everything else around them has sunk into the chaos as a result of their arts, colliding and destroying each other. Only the Protector's will remains unshaken as the earth. She ended the fight with a hug.
You're always slightly late. And you're always slightly early. Been waiting long, Kelsey? Not really. I thought you'd be next. You are like a microcosm of everything that happened in Ursus. I'm sorry, I really am. Sorry? For what? You knew my husband and I were already doomed when we made our decision at the Research Institute. You're not the type to get depressed. No, perhaps you might have become more depressed in the last century. No. I hold regrets and maybe even remorse towards your story, but not much sorrow. I'm talking about your daughter. Polonik doesn't live in the better era that you wished for, an era where hate and violence have been forgotten. The same goes for Ludmilla. Like I said, you're like a microcosm, Lilia. You and Polonik have an unbreakable bond formed from hatred and blood. A microcosm. I've seen it many a time, a futile destruction. Sounds like you're tired. You weren't created to be the savior. You can't level a mountain with a finger, or destroy a city with your eyes. Just what kind of plebeian would hope that you were invincible? Do those fools think that they could uphold a civilization teetering on the edge of collapse with just violence? There might be some with such hope. They hope that I can bring them a future, hope to survive in my country, hope for a victory under my command.
And ooh! Thank you for the raid. Hello, hello.
You failed them, because you're just Kelsey. Our conversation has yielded no answers. Yes, you've admitted it. You're afraid. I mean, you're tired.
How goes the stream? Pretty good. I just gotta redo some stages later, since I did not manage to 3-star them, but it's okay. Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yes, you've admitted it. You're tired. But why? You're always on the path of avoiding their self-destruction. But the power you hold is just that minuscule. There's no way you can teleport from Victoria to Ursus, or monitor every sarcasm and Terra, to see what dangerous witchcraft they're delving into this time. Whatever you do just grows more and more futile, so you're starting to get impatient, right? And especially
for Kelsey's consciousness, I think it's cool how Lilia made a return from Kelsey's event.
I know. You already know what you're afraid of. You're still able to keep yourself from thinking about it. Not letting Teresa's appear in front of you. Even your subconsciousness is practically begging for it. The same goes for your own determination, Kelsey. You think people will treat you gently, and so that pair of siblings won't talk to you like this. How strange. You were so cold before that I never imagined that you would seek the warmth of others. From such a perspective, you really have become weak. Spring is chilly here. I'll catch a cold soon if I stay out any longer. We should go somewhere with a warmer spring. Shall we go inside? Sure. Snow?
A rare outsider. Are you heading for the Sacred Mountain? Pilgrims as young as you rarely make it up here. But why aren't you continuing your ascent? Legs got frostbite?
Sacred Mountain. Are we in Cherag?
Cherag? Where is that? Is that where you're from?
I wouldn't consider it as such. It's one of the most spectacular mountains on Terra. I once saw a group of destitute refugees settle and rebuild their lives in that paradise free of catastrophe.
Oh, it must be a beautiful place then. Terra, it sounds so small. That's where you're from?
Yes. I come from Terra. And you?
We're the mountain. We're born with this one goal.
Born with it?
We frolic among these trees on the mossy plains of our youth, and learn from the rocks, and in our prime, we began climbing the mountain. We did so much groundwork at the foot of the mountain, weaving strands of dawnlight into ropes, or preparing a pair of shoes that won't be contaminated by the darkness of the night. And then we begin climbing the mountain. The road is long and full of obstacles, and we only harvest resources in the valleys. Fortunately for us, the sacred mountain is merciful and feed us with death. So we dedicate our long lives to this mountain path in return.
It must be an exhausting journey coming all the way here.
Exhausting? No, no, no. The snow does not mourn its melting. This is all from the self-flattering efforts of others, while we are just climbers.
What is this sacred mountain called? And what should I call you?
This mountain is called Time, and us, we are just insignificant lives.
I love that. This mountain is called Time. Of course, of course.
Time is such a grand thing, isn't it? You should well be aware of this.
Will the mountain change? Has anyone reached the summit?
I don't know. What I mean by that is maybe. Try shouting at the abyss of time. The response you will receive is a gift from a secret mountain. Time will not give you an automatic answer, but it will respond. Our predecessors called this response fate. And fate is the echoes of the cries of life. Have you never done this before?
Kelsey's just still pretty deadpan, even in her dream.
Well, it seems like there will be a blizzard tonight. I should go prepare dinner and find a place to set up camp. Do you need a place to rest? We can go together, girl.
Sure, old man. I'd like to know, what's there to fill your stomach?
Perhaps we'll be having despair, child.
My favorite dinner, despair. Wow, she's so lucky.
Cries. Or maybe you can finish your prayers before dinner. Do your shouting before the blizzard blots everything from sight. Louder.
You will become yourself. Kelsey, your judgment is rational. For this, I feel sorry. Sorry for what? It's only myself. Because I am your time. I single-handedly caused your distrust towards humanity, your pessimism, your dismay, and your impatience with no way out. However, from her and on her, you saw a possibility. Out of your tendency to be overly cautious and anxious, you suspect that this feeling is merely a misjudgment caused by your irritation. After all, the world is breaking out of your knowledge and control, and the new you was only born not long ago. And yet, you've considered it many times before, how much easier it would be if you chose to trust him instead.
Well, of course she'd only smile at Amiya, because Amiya is adorable.
I am your time, Kelsey. You omniscient fool. You forget that little details. You are not a chosen savior. You should not be. You're not always right either.
Oh, it's so cute! Even if you've already made up your mind. You know better than anyone else how limited time is. And there isn't much left. You should try giving up and choose to trust someone you can believe in. You are not trusted because you are Kelsey, nor do you become Kelsey because you are trusted. You are the echoes of a valley, water dripping off a cliff. Your responsibilities way beyond what your abilities can bear. And now at least, there are people to share these responsibilities with. What you have lost and gained in the short period of the past few centuries far exceeds your former days. So long as they were that you could only use for progress and evolution. Everything is about to end, Kelsey. And you know this. Will you stay your passivity? Your pessimism? Your apathy? Don't forget your original question. Don't forget the answer that you nearly had. Go on. Amaten. The meaning of your existence is more than you yourself.
Let's stop here. Indeed. Indeed. This is enough.
I like how short Kelsey's dream was. Preserver's like, yeah, no, okay.
And the doctor? Calming down elsewhere. I do not intend to spend some time with you alone. I have a question for you, Kelsey. For the past 10,000 years, have you really lived in this land? The past 10,000 years! Yes. It seems you've changed quite a lot. We haven't interacted as much. But you shouldn't be your current self. What did you choose? I've seen wars lasting several millennia, the rise and coexisting of nations, and people growing from their misunderstandings and conflicts. But in the end, they all scattered to the wind, just like the sands of Sargon. But in the blink of an eye, history has already given birth to new children. I've seen the cycle repeat too many times. The cycle itself looms large and weighs heavy, and I'm fully aware that time is running out. And then, I ran into a unique opportunity. I once met two Tikas, who were closer than any creature in any era, to the truth of continuing civilization. But now, you're all as fragile as the trash on an asteroid belt, so how can you possibly talk of continuing? Wait, you are saying the Black Crown still remains in Terra? The Lord of Fiends, as the ancient Tikas called it. Tikas? Those odd, endemic life forms? What a fluke. I had thought I would have been left behind on the Black Crown. I dislike the shape it takes on the physical plane. A crown leaves a bad taste. A crown points to royalty. This ancient imagery implies power. In this downward trend of collapse, where the misunderstandings over ideology and race push surface civilization towards self-destruction, within the extravagant mirage of peace and unity, the most direct method should be to use those powers to reshape the will of all living beings and fuse them into a singular form. What can a false leader make of memories, emotions, and knowledge even achieve?
Don't underestimate Amiya. Don't underestimate Rhodes Island. Don't underestimate us. No. I'm making this about Amiya. How dare you talk bad about Amiya, my precious Amiya?
Doctor, are you alright?
Just need a breather. This thing has gone too far. Just needed a breather.
Perhaps I have underestimated you, but that does not affect the ending already set in stone. You want me to believe that such a tiny place of heritage is enough to change fate? Heritage is humanity's sole achievement ever since our ancient ancestors learned to use tools and fire. Knowledge, culture, history. So-called civilization is nothing more than that. There will be a day when the Black Crown will no longer belong to me alone. And we will have to fight to survive, no matter who the enemy is. You have chosen to fight for Terra. This is what you decided? With this body, this identity, you're different from Kristen and her kind. Your struggles are far from your original intent.
Even Rhodes Island's reserve ops teams knows the difference between fighting for themselves and fighting for others. And we've all done our preparations. This great land of Terra is where I grew up. I'm an employee of Rhodes Island, a part of the ship sailing on the land called Terra. Infected is just too trivial a proposition. However, infected originium, huh? Then, what about you, Doctor?
I'm an employee of Rhodes Island. I'm an employee of Rhodes Island. I'm an employee of Rhodes Island. I like the different options. I'm an employee of Rhodes Island. Hello, which chapter am I reading? It's the event, the current event.
I also have a question for you, Trevor Friston. How has your time been in this equally long period of time?
His name is Trevor? I'm gonna just keep on calling him Preserver. Yeah, Preserver better. I like Preserver's ability to make dreams like that. That's fun.
The perturbation system has been lifted. Kristen, tell me how to stop the energy accumulation. And where exactly does the energy come from? This will be an extremely long story. I would try to crack the Galerius control panel before I'm done listening. Saria, you know, the history of this land is far longer than most realize. I believe every generation produces its own skeptics. Just like my parents and I, have adventures really been completely fruitless? And was there perhaps a more ancient point in time that the sky hanging over us was not as we see it today? I remember that was one of the establishing goals of Rhine Lab's scientific investigation section. Conventional exploration alone has already provided me with plenty of interesting information. After you left Rhine, I picked up some interests that I had previously and tried leaving the laboratory, heading to various corners of the world that mankind had scarcely set foot on. The purpose of these journeys was not to observe the sky. The stars are not worth looking at. I came to this conclusion early on, after countless calculations. I only wanted to try and find more collaborators. Since the last Lathanian arts detector orb fell short at 500 meters below the barrier, the academic circles in most countries abandoned their research into the thing. So what I've been looking for, a voice that doesn't belong to this era. Like the immortals who rely on Originimars to escape the shackles of life, or the Feramuts, older than any country. Perhaps even older than those regarded as gods. A being so old that history has forgotten them. Before I set out on my journey, I had no idea what I was going to find. I just felt a calling across time and space directing me towards that door. And what was inside the door? Everything. I found the answers to all my questions. How I managed to trek across history to make it here. About the land's unexplored secrets. And about the myriad of possibilities of our future. But at the same time, I also saw the end of a civilization and a spirit abandoned by time. Time. Time is nothing but a vile joke. At the end of the world, when the seas dried up and the rocks rotted away, as everything changed, I hid in this grim bunker, repeating a futile act, shouting into the void. My words permeated every moon and space itself, every tunnel and corner of the stars. The universe did not respond to me. I prayed to the pitch-black despair for tens of thousands of years, and the only thing I heard in return was the reverberations of destruction. Whenever I long for a survivor's response, the sound of collapse and rays of occupied light still lingering among the stars would emerge.
What do I make of Preserver and Kristen's relationship? Preserver was lonely and Kristen was curious. And then they became besties because of that. Preserver's like, dang, someone else is here now? And she wants to talk to me? And ask me so many questions. Wow, I like her. And then they became besties.
Whenever I long for a survivor's response, the sound of collapse and rays of occupied light still lingering among the stars would emerge. It was a black hole of futile effort. My emotions were far beyond what any regular life form would ever experience or empathize with. In the endless silence, all I could hear was the heartbeats of my people growing ever weaker, but their dormant hearts should not have been beating at all. Nightmares cannot jolt me awake, because it is impossible for me to sleep. I hate myself for having these emotions. I wish I could operate like a pure machine. I hate the other me that assigned me a fate like this. I knew very well that the plan has already concluded. The energy in these sarcophagi was not enough to power the next stage of recovery in our plans. Soon after, I was swept into nothingness, endless and numb. So the contact with Kristen offered you a gamble. Since your people could never wake up, you might as well. No. The first time I saw that humanoid creature, what I felt was surprise. I've been watching the depths of space far, far away, not what happened on the surface. I noticed the growth of life, but never expected it to knock on my door. We spent a long time talking, though in reality it was no longer than a few months. Kristen fired question after question.
Yep, she did ask questions.
As if she was meeting a manifestation of the truth. And remarkably, every topic would send her into a long period of reflection and silence, instead of satisfying her thirst for knowledge. She catechized an idea, but she didn't voice it herself. Kristen refused to be the one to execute the plan.
Plan? Wasn't she just using Ryan to achieve her goals? Plan?
She believes that someday this land will need a group that can separate themselves from politics and unite its people. This far-sighted group would have to employ everything at their disposal to build an ark. The pioneers would inevitably face a struggle of understanding and would face division and suffering. But reality is not myth, as Babel has proven. So what is Rhodes Island to you? If you hold no hope for all this, you're right about that. We can discuss this so-called hope. Kristen's little helpers have already been fiddling with the sarcophagi technology. I have no qualms with it, but this must mean something important for Terra. Use it well. Kristen's political views are not without a few flaws. Loken's research has effectively been put under control. I cannot possibly trust Columbia as a nation, but there is someone behind the Mainlander Foundation that is worth negotiating with.
Would I also gamble on Kristen and take my chances? Technically, yeah, I would, since I let other people summon on my accounts every so often. Like, if I see them in person, I'm like, yo, touch this button, please. Give me your luck, imbue your luck. So technically, yes, I would.
That is good. And then, tell me, are the deep-sea dwelling Ager really so different from civilization on land? What I can tell you far surpasses whatever Kristen has told you. Indeed, I cannot comprehend why these creatures with bodily structures inadequately suited to survive in the deep sea would establish a civilization in the ocean. But this suggests they depend on some product of the seafloor. The form of their civilization has been distorted by external forces, making them stronger but also causing problems. Ager is a settlement that must be united, regardless of the problems caused by those rampant sea monsters. I believe that's what they are called. Terra cannot leave such
a developed nation alone. Considering their approximate geographical location, and if they use what they might have in abundance appropriately, my guess is that Kristen is doing right now is not necessarily out of Ager's reach. With strength comes arrogance. Ager is not so easy to persuade. Though fortunately, due to a series of incidents, I have had the good fortune to establish a precious friendship with some Ager. This will be an impactful breakthrough, since the profound silence, Ager can no longer remain silent.
Scotty, Gladia, Spectre. Scotty.
Excellent. The March of the Knights Mora basically only exists as a legend in the database of Columbia, with no decent historical text to refer to. But if the legendary event was not in fact a falsehood, then he is indeed an incredible hero. If we take the Originium as a power source, the fact that such a tyrant born in Terra thousands of years ago could achieve such a great feat in a much more primitive environment does inspire wonder. However, the south is already in ruins, so you should look north. Have you been there?
Ursus? Sami?
Ursus? No. Even further north, at the ends of the endless ice fields. I tried many times, but I've yet to find anything with limits of my own abilities. But you know what's over there. I do. So don't ignore the door that leads there. Push it open when you need to, and it will show you a boundless vista.
It'd be cool seeing the creatures there if they're that scary in the tundra. I'm imagining things like... Oh, wait. No, they would be scary, actually. I was gonna say, I'm imagining things like narwhals, polar bears, penguins. And then I thought, penguin? Wait a second, Emperor. He looks like a penguin and he's terrifying. Of course. If there's more of him there... Yep, that place is scary. So don't ignore the door that lies there. Push it open when you need to, and it will show you a boundless vista. Just pushing the door is already far beyond what most are capable of. And so it is up to all of you to find a way. The land is vast and civilization continues to advance, so surely there is no more than one Christian. Surely there is more than one Christian. You seem to trust the denizens of this land more than I previously thought. Trust. I hand the tinder to you. I have given up everything on my end. Whether or not you can succeed, nothing can be changed. This is my failure. Trust? Yes. I do not know. Perhaps I just want to see any life form able to converse and interact with one another, to continue existing. You know this, compared to with the problems on the distant horizon, there's something that could happen at any moment. War. Even if I look only at the eyes of Columbia, I sense the imminent danger to your world, and the fire that can ignite at any time. Yeah. Terra as a whole has lots and lots of lore. Like, there are so many nations and stuff.
You will acquire preparation. Do what you must to extinguish the flame or to let it produce new life. This is your choice to make. Those who are truly able to save the denizens of Terra are ours and only themselves. This need for awakening has not changed since time immemorial, because it is all part of what humanity is.
Thank you. We will discover the truth.
The sky is about to be opened, but the barrier will soon heal itself. Perhaps it will take a few days or months or years, but the people of Terra will take that limited, voracious sea into their eyes and will keep the moonlight and the distant planets in their memories. I hope, Kristen hopes, that this will be a powerful signal. A signal to herald the next great age.
Saria, would you like to gaze at the stars together? Just like we did before? We can talk about this after we descend. The starry sky. Or more precisely, what we gaze at is a barrier. The star pod. There's still 1,000 meters to go. Our current position is already near the limit of humanity's touch. The ionization response is too strong. At this height, the instruments can operate with all the interference. The control panel is completely useless. I should have known. You have no intention of letting the Galeria Stellaria last much longer. Yes. It just has to last until I break the barrier. The barrier. Though we've always been inclined towards the usage of barrier, you're well aware that the shape of it is more than just a barrier, as per conjecture. It might not even be a barrier at all, but an extremely wide space. It might even lack endpoints. The 6,000 meters, what we understand as normal airspace, is actually abnormal. In that case, breaking it was never an option. It can indeed be broken. You've never once doubted it. 6,972 meters. If you fly straight up at this angle, as long as you can soar past that height, the Galeria Stellaria will no longer be disturbed by any ionization reactions. Fine. They have credible data from the spirit. But this doesn't reduce the danger of exploring the skies at all. No, even if. If we assume the barrier is enveloping the land like a membrane, as you say, it means we know less than nothing about the space beyond it. This makes your actions even more hazardous. You could even bring disaster upon this land. I know. The people are simply inadequately prepared for this. There will never be adequate in preparation. If there is indeed a calamity looming over us, then humanity is already living under a ticking clock. If that's the case, then we should be even more cautious, right? Saria, I believe, there will come a day when a much more complete exploration team will be formed, and with more data and full support, they will enter into the depths of space before our very eyes. This is also the future I hope for. But you yourself are not in this future of yours. True. I'm ill-suited to be called a pioneer. On that point, I fully agree with your view. If possible, I would prefer to become a starting point. Just like once, back when, I watched the light of those flames burning in the sky. That was the last thing my parents left me. A starting point. Where's the closest escape pod? None left. Those with the capability to execute the return module are already gone. Alright. Then hold on to me. I'll wrap the both of us in calcification. We might not even have the chance of survival, but we can try. Saria, lower your gaze. What? You're the one who didn't look down this time. The gravity abruptly shifts without warning, and Saria feels only space beneath her feet. She did not expect Kristen to set up an emergency escape door at the Galeria Stellaria Center. And yeah, of course Kristen would have a contingency plan. She knows how strong Saria is. She's like, yeah, I can't win against her in a one-on-one fight. But it's okay. I have this. I was surprised her after using Talk no Jutsu for a bit. No, Saria thinks to herself. She should have expected it long before. The door is not for the owner of the planetarium. Kristen knew that at the very last moment, Saria would come. The sudden change of mass robs Saria of her voice, and she fails to yell out anything at all. She also knows that there is nothing she can grab, but still stretches out her hand. Starlight and Earth pour into her view, while Kristen only gets further and further.
Nah, I ain't worried about Saria. Saria's fine.
Saria, you always wanted me to take a good look at the world. Now I have. It is equally beautiful. You will watch it and the people it nurtures in my stead. This I always knew. Just as you have in the past, and will in the future. And I'm not the type to lead people on, step by step. I'm just a pair of eyes. Eyes that will peer into the unfamiliar depths of space for all that live on that land. Kristen, I can almost see the true starry sky. It probably hasn't changed much from what you told me. In over 10,000 years, me and you, our civilization and yours, on the scale of the universe, we really are insignificantly small.
Oh, that means I'm an alien. If the Preserver told her about outer space, that must mean we're probably from there too. Cool! I am... Like, my true identity is a Super Saiyan. Yep, that's what I be.
A torrent of energy pounds the accumulating area of this giant airborne construct, and the ring hovering up high looks almost swallowed up by the tremendous amount of energy. Immediately afterwards, an even greater amount concentrates at its core, enough to destroy any massive nomadic city. And this world is just so puny and shallow. How could I ever bear it? The light converges and abandons the earth, stabbing upwards into the air.
Parvis is probably like, yeah, this is cool. I get a front row seat here.
Under the unprecedented energy surge, wave after wave of dazzling ripples emerge on the pitch-black curtain devoid of any life. The fall sky is at last rent asunder.
I want to poke that. Poke.
The ancient twin moons expose their real faces. Tonight, the truth will be perceived by humanity for the very first time.
It kind of looks like an eyeball. It reminds me of Olympus.
And that's why I want to just poke it.
A little tap. Poke, poke, tap, tap. And then it will destroy me. But yay! I got all the way to CW-10 today. Foo foo foo.
Do I think Saria understood Kristen at the end? Well, she always knew Kristen was like that. She said Kristen never changed. So, to an extent, she always did understand her. It's just that she didn't, like, want her to do the thing. Which is fine. Like, sorry, Saria, sorry, Silence. You wanted to put an end to the fun, but no! The fun will continue. Paris went out like a boss like that. He's like, my dream came true. Wish granted. And heck, even Kristen, she's like, yeah, you can't stop my party. Bye. So I'm fine with their end. They're going out in a blaze of glory. Sticking to their ideals. Like, that is actually pretty nice. It's a nice way to go out, and, like, to me. If I could go out in a blaze of glory like that, like something that I want to do, and people are trying to stop me from doing what I want to do, like, no, 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 no. I will eat the fugu. Too bad.
Nom nom nom. Delicious. Blech. For example, like that kind of thing. Like, I like that. I think that's fun. Psh, Mr. Preserver even said that I'm not the hero, so it's okay. I'm not always the hero. So in this case, I'm not the hero. I'm the villain here, trying to stop their fun. But no, they succeeded. Everyone loved Kristen. Kristen's a true hero. She got what she wanted. Or, that's what it seems like so far. And I think that's fun. Like, I'm satisfied with that. Even if we failed our mission from Rose Island. It's okay. Yeah, we don't always have to win, you know. Like, this be fine. With that being said, I will finish the event tomorrow. Hoo hoo hoo. And oh gosh, I hope my feet are gonna be fine tomorrow. Oh, pain and suffering. I don't like that feeling. I think I'm gonna get blisters, but whatever. It's okay, this can be a tough week of work. And then I cry over the weekend, and then the grind continues. So thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day in Epic Gacha Lock. And yes, I will continue tomorrow. So see you guys later. Bye bye!